Knock is almost burning out there from that molly. There's no way they can save Marcel. Surely here, all things considered. Explosion of the car, that's going to remove some of the cover, and Foot knows it. An absolute barrage down, a blitz here. And now this is where Howl's moving on that right-hand side to the dip that I thought that they were going to go to initially, but you can't because it was so vulnerable from the south. They needed phase gone to be able to try and go for this. But BBL's been planning to deal with this dip for the past 15 minutes. I mean, they dealt with it against phase so well, and now Howl's going to have a hard time too.
Smash knows exactly where to line up, and if he doesn't have one, say, guys, give me one. I've just gotten a double kill over there. I know how to throw it in order to get those kills. Now there are limited boxes available for Howl to play around with if they so want to. And for Howl, again, I mean, from survivals, but they sat there. They knew it was a bad position to be in, but they waited for the esports to take the fight to Polish power. That's when they made their move. Once again, we're seeing Howl play day one of PUBG.
Yes, they are. A lot of kills to boot here. Impressed by them. Again, though, if they can get out of this position, I'll be very, very impressed. I don't think this is going to be afforded to them because BBL knows that they want to hold them out, and they know who it is as well. They just got a knock.
If we're back in that whole situation of lower bracket or upper bracket qualifiers, and I'm seeing Howl and it's Foot and BBL that are potentially getting points off of them going down here, this is a situation where I'm not necessarily all against a, you know what, let's just not do this, because we could get points, sure, 1 or 2, but we're giving 4 points guaranteed to teams we just do not want to give anything for free. So depending on their smokes, you can see Ruin, 0, they're sparing loot in between one another, 6 on the mat. Okay, so they do have something to work with. That changes the tide. Go for something, get some points here, and damage their position as much as you possibly can.
Howl's played a great game, but I do think as well, Foot on the other side, right now, for me, they're the MVP so far of this game, with how they've been transitioning, moving patiently, dislodging Polish power from where they were just now as well. 11 kills to boot. They've been through the war zone, really, and been very smart about their movement, but now it's going to get hard.
Yep, sure is. For BBL, though, only 3 players alive. That is a big compound to maintain control of it. If one gets knocked, you know that Howl, well, they're probably instantly going to jump into those cars, and Foot Esports are going to cross the road from the north. You can see T-Bone is crawling up here, trying to get into a better position. Beamy peeking on over, knowing exactly where Howl is set. Those vehicles, well, they ain't long for this world. And a Mirado in the sand, trying to accelerate without tires. It ain't really looking too good. So, BBL, prime real estate for now, and probably for the rest of the game, too.
So how many guns are currently trained on the Howl position? 2 at the moment for BBL, whereas Smash is going to be the one to try and greet Foot once they start moving across. This is going to work in Foot's favor. Because they're only 3, BBL's only 3, and only 1 gun was trained on their location. This allowed Foot to make an amazing transition. So all of these like 3-team dynamics are working against BBL because they just don't have the manpower right now.
Great read of position for Foot Esports here, knowing that on this side of the stables, there's no peak point, there's no entry point for BBL.
No way they're going to get it.
Here comes Howl afterwards, full speed forward, they go all in one car, 1 falls down, that is the mad, but they have made landfall. They have gotten to the other side, 3 of them, trying to now make their way inside, and BBL are the ones surrounded.
At the same time, though, BBL is still holding this quite nicely. Rustenmar is still alive, and he goes for it! Rustenmar blasts Howl out of the city, and now Foot is going to be the one to try and move on this. They know Enoch is already down here, and they will be moving through fast to try and clean this up, clear this out, and get this game.
Shoot that door, get those mollies in there, get the nades in there. Issue is Foot Esports, just like, I mean, Howl for the most part, we're fighting up close for a big part of this one. Utilities should be scarce if existing at all for Foot Esports. So they went aggressive, now realizing, you know what, we had a chance to pounce, we gotta wait this one out now. Going back, maybe regrouping a little bit, setting up for this final fight, because remember, it's phase 8, we're going outside the compound.
And for BBL, they were kind of damned if they do and damned if they don't in that previous scenario, because now when you have to hold out Howl, you have to reinforce that position with how aggressive that crash was, you give up center point on this circle as well. So Foot can play this slow. BBL is now the one with urgency.
Can't really fault BBL for taking the fight to Howl either.
Oh, you got it.
I mean, if you want to win this tournament, you've got to take down the first place team and then try and deal with Foot Esports afterwards. BBL and Foot, their social media managers, has been at war throughout this tournament. This is going to be the fight for the Turkish pride, at least for the foreseeable future. Who comes out victorious? Foot Esports has the numbers, but BBL, well, See if they have what it takes to bring this one home.
I was going to say Smash. If you'd have gone
They
around
have
that corner
Smash.
with one shot in that, I would have been very mad. But reloaded, almost sees him through the window. That's the sawn off here. Vard keeps making it work almost every single game. As now, moving, relocating. Michael going to come around.
Oh.
What a shot from him coming out with the AUG. Vard goes down. This is so close. 2v2 at the moment. Misses with the shots on the shotgun. He's going to have to back
Чисто
off.
дробовик, как у меня.
Oh, but he gets him in the head.
Не работает никогда. О, BBL взяли такой топ, нихера себе. Я супер, реально, нереально вовремя. Это было реально жестко. Самое главное, как говорится, вовремя прийти. Я вовремя пришел.
Smash having the audacity to shoot twice with the dual barrel, fall back, not swap guns, but go, I got time to reload.
Что бибил, что футболист, сразу же видно. Сразу же видно мощь, мощно. Подходит к турниру эти командочки. Конкуренция, видимо, сейчас будет такая серьезная за победку. Значит, будет красочный финал. Линейку играет? Орут. Агашо, Валент, агашо. Я перерыв делал, да. Ничего я комментировать не буду, так. Я посмотреть сегодня.
Two guys.
Busy? You here?
Yeah.
I can knock back to
Knock one more.
Nice.
Back.
Close
Molly.
back, back.
I'm vaulting in.
I'm getting mollied, I can't pull.
I'm mollied.
Both here.
I'm mollied. Yellow. You can rest. Oh.
Все прямо обрезы используют, очень интересно.
I'm flashing above. I need first set if there is. Can you give me?
There is not.
Звучит как мета.
One more.
Empty.
He's sitting in car.
Nice.
Only one left. Alive. Fast face left alive.
No, they're taking.
They're crashing east.
They stab on. Can you defend the east side? Take two person one. I'm gonna go take this one.
Dark one.
I stab on blue. Nice.
Oh yeah, I'm still looking last again.
Pop tires to the con crashes.
Two guys first car.
Hard one.
One knocked.
I'm flashing my back.
In.
Inside.
One more outside.
Shot me inside.
Knocked.
Kitchen.
One more. Dead.
Res.
4 3.
During the upper bracket of the playoffs, we asked, they did not deliver. During the upper brackets of the lower brackets of the playoffs, we asked, they did not deliver. During day 1 of the grand finals, day 2 of the grand finals, we asked, they did not deliver. But finally, to kick us off on the final day, BBL brings the magic, takes a chicken dinner, and this saga is what I've been talking about. This is how this team can play. This is the potential they have. Why are they only bringing it out now?
Yes, you just got to berate them more. Bully them into performance. That's exactly
This is
how
what they're
it works.
capable of.
No, but it's great to see that not only do they win the game in a pretty convincing fashion, although it does come down to a very tight 1v1, they were holding the position, but they're the team that's getting breached from both sides, and they did get a little fortunate that Foot didn't commit to the push, right? When they see that Michael is knocked on the engagement with Howl, when they know that the health is low, when there's an opportunity for Vard to get in and cause problems with his sawn-off double-barreled shotgun. Smash has a bigger one sometimes, that's all it takes, and you just gotta let Smash smash.
Smash has a bigger shotgun?
He does, look at it.
Much bigger?
It takes one tap.
Эй, молодежь, плати картой мира и получай кэшбэк 10% за покупки шмоток, косметосика и подписок. Активируй акцию на приветмир.ру. И йоу, да ё-моё, ну акция же класс, а сценарий? Мы его поели.
Exciting rosters on both sides, Foot and BBL, and both of them have the potential to really shake up the EMEA scene, in my opinion. I think that they can really mix things up. And what we saw in that final battle between the two of them is exactly what we've wanted. This is the potential that they bring to the table.
And also, I got to point out here, what we saw is them being super aware of they had to take Howl down first, because that is literally the team that is to beat. So they're both super focused on it. We saw Beamy on that kind of 90-degree off angle, making sure that Howl got as much damage done before they got into BBL. So it was two teams working together to take down the Goliath. Otherwise, they're simply not making it to PTS, and that's obviously their biggest goal here, is to make it there. But a 24-point game. I'll just remind you, on day number 1, BBL had 22, and on day number 2, they had 27 points. So they just got 24 in just one game. That is how bad the other days was. If they can continue this just a little bit, they're obviously already now putting themselves on the left side of the leaderboard. But they are within strike distance.
Кстати, bestmoments, Ace и деньги — это первый, а Exalt еще. В первой 8 были команды. Набирает очки команды ниже таблицы.
It puts Foot on second place ahead of FaZe, and Ascent is down. And again, as we say here, Exalt, Polish Power, BBL, all within striking distance. Just one good game, and they're in there.
It's important to remind you that Foot Esports won the upper bracket of our playoffs in convincing fashion. They were dominating that lobby. So to see them in second place, this was what I was expecting from them when we came into the grand finals. This is now an opportunity for a lot of these teams, Ascend, Foot Esports, FaZe, to take a shot at that top spot. Everyone is going to be gunning for Howl.
Right.
Well, the one thing that we do need to be a little aware of is, you know, while Foot is coming into this game looking like total tyrants of the edge of the zone, just wiping out everyone, keeping 4 alive, keeping enough utility to make the seemingly impossible push onto the low ground where Polish Power is holding. We've seen performances where they've popped off really solidly and then come out in 13th place with just 2 or 3 kills. So we need to make sure that this is not their outlier for the day, that this is their standard for the day, and then we can start looking at it and say, okay, this is the team who dominated the upper bracket, who everyone predicted, not only ourselves, but the Turkish talent predicted to make it to the PGS slots in the top 4 as well.
Just on the TWI leaderboard, I have to say, if T-Bone and Rustenmar continue to perform, I might actually be able to crack 700 before the end of this.
Oh, you're definitely cracking.
Miracles can happen.
If you're cracking 800 before Saga cracks 900.
It's not going to happen, definitely not. Is it worth even speaking about Na'Vi at this point?
Not yet. They didn't do too much this one. Let's talk about the next one.
That's what I'm saying. Is it even worth it? I feel like they've completely dropped off. I don't see them. I do not see our PGC
champs. They are so far down the
champs.
leaderboard, you have to turn around.
Exactly. I mean, what is going? This is. You have to talk about this. They're the global champions.
Yeah.
How do we look at this? Straight after PGC, your first big tournament back, you haven't changed your roster. You should be coming in looking strong, and you're not even cracking the top 8.
The highest of the highs and the lowest of the lows. It belongs to some of the best teams here in Europe. Entropic, now Na'Vi, some teams that we have seen perform at the very, very upper echelon, it's just not performing. And it is, as we've been talking about a few times, as we heard from Gustav yesterday, it is just due to the lobby being this aggressive, random, and the new teams doing things that nobody has ever seen before. There's no standardized things of like going where you have, like last year, you had 10, 12 teams where you know exactly what they're doing because you have 2 years of evidence to just look back at. They know exactly how their rotation is going to be, their drops, where their usual plays are, and where they are in what kind of zones. Here, everything's up in the air, and it's just about who.
Здорово, заебал.
The immense highs that we've seen, we've spoken
Здорово,
about
здорово,
the
Ваня.
lows that we've seen, and now we're going to talk about fashion before Kyla actually takes us into the next game.
These are the skins I love the most. Let's start from the top. My head skin are the Kingmaker head and headphones because they fit to the ace tank top area. Kinda easy to say why I like it. It's because it represents our team tag. On the hands I got a PGI title reps. They are rare and look insane. On the legs there is the MET Asia Series Distressed jeans.
Big fan of those PGI title wraps myself on the hands, always looking quite nice. They're very different to the normal gloves, so that's what I normally go with too.
Bit of variation, I like it.
Yeah. A lot of purple for a scent, makes sense here.
You almost have a team skin in the game because it says ace.
I guess you kind of get away with it, yeah.
It like of better.
Not too bad. We've got another game of Miramar on the way, and then after that it's all Erangel all day for the rest of it. So, with one more Miramar left, a lot of these circles are going...
они две катки, да, уже сыграли?
And teams are trying to...
Это как это работает? Это уже вторая катка была? Это сейчас будет гейм 12, да. Бля, Джокер был прав, походу, с 8. What the fuck? Почему они так решили? 2 дня делать в 9 и сейчас сделать в 8. Гениально. Ну, на самом деле хорошо, пораньше спать уйдем. Самолеты уже десантируются.
Take fights to the teams when they did, but let's get to it. It is game number 12 of
Пораньше
15
спать
now,
пойдем.
as we have again a very generous playing path for all of these teams to get landed, get looted, and get booted.
It's almost as if the game has decided, you know what, it's the final day, we'll give them this one, and then as soon as we go over to Wrangler, it goes, what does that just say?
Oh, you mean the laugh I've been working on for months?
Yeah.
You like 15 years? No, not 15 years. I've done a lot of research and development. It's the laugh that I've been working on for the last 6 months, but I'm not gonna air it on. It's not ready. It's not ready.
Still not?
No, it's still not ready.
You're so proud of it, and yet it's not even finished yet?
Look,
I'm looking forward to the final form, James. I'm looking forward to the final form.
Okay, good. Stop telling people about my research and development processes, all right?
I'm leaking your strength.
Yeah.
Yep. Saving the laugh for the perfect moment. I'm just looking forward to it. We didn't do meow last week, so
you didn't.
It was close enough.
It was a wow.
Maybe that's why they showed the cat yesterday.
No.
It was a reference to you meowing.
No, there's something about... Okay, well, don't show the chicken in prison again, please.
Причем, о, какой круг интересный. Не, ну самолет не уйдет, наверное, на prison.
Hopefully bringing just small tears of joy. Of course, nothing is won just yet. And for FaZe as well, happiness galore. And I must honestly say that it's very rare. One thing is to keep a bit of Los Hijos in on the eastern side, but how often do we actually have prison itself? Like, not just spots of the island, but actual prison itself inside.
Если хотя бы раз увижу, что не будет ответных ставок, я не буду их запускать.
Thanks, observers. Now I'm busy.
Oh, they don't like prison, I suppose. That's what that was a reference to.
My eyes hurt now because of the spiral staircase. You know.
Guys, that's how much it takes to break James.
Так, на кого будем ставить?
I think James can exist in somewhere like in a radius or span of 3 degrees. You can either not be too warm.
Ну этот круг фейзов и немцев, вот на них будем ставить. Давай. Эйс против Фейс. Погнали. 2 минуты. Понеслась.
It's approximately 80
Кто из них
points away
дольше
from where Joker
проживет?
would have wanted
Не
to
важно,
be if
сколько
we
они
were to look at
ПТС дропнут.
PEC Grand Finals performance, 'cause they were out there
Кто первый
showing
умер,
the
тот
world
проиграл.
that they
Полный
were
вайп
not to be
команды.
dealt with, and right now they can't even show open qualifier teams that.
It's been a rough one for sure. I mean, not only Na'Vi, but also question mark here. Teams that we're expecting to be able to really pump up. I would say even to a degree.
Ну и плюс они по таблице ровно сидят 3-й и 4-й. Так что я думаю, ставка хороша.
Yeah, it's one of those rosters where, again, you see the names, you instantly kind of connect those with good performances, well-established orgs in the scene, and big grand final performances. But then they just happen to not really be able to pull it together. But having said that, there is still games left to play. And even though, on paper, 11th out of 16th doesn't sound very good, one good game, and they're sat in 6th. Maybe, I would say 5th or 7th, maybe 6th, depending on how well they perform.
But again, it's the good thing about having a long-form circuit system, where now still, even though you're in 11th, actually the jump up to maybe a 5th, a 6th, etc., isn't really unattainable in this last day. And having those
not
points
at all.
be able to contribute towards a later goal, you know, their eyes are still very much on the prize, even though if you don't
Ну
claim
вот
the
и
prize
все,
here
не
today,
договорились.
on the weekend,
Нет
And
ответных
one thing that's
ставок,
for
это
sure
была
is that
последняя.
oftentimes what we see in the end, like especially on the final
Даже
days,
заморачиваться
few
не
teams
буду
that are still
больше.
fighting for those top spots, but a lot of teams that I don't want to say start trolling, although it might sometimes look a bit like it, but just kind of play careless because they will not be able to get first place anyway. Now there are PGC points available, so I don't know why you would play careless, but teams do tend to play a little more loose when they can't no longer reach that top 5, and that's sometimes where
Минута времени, может, ситуация спасет у вас?
Yeah, they do. And
Если нет, я верну баллы и все.
as you look at the leaderboards to the left-hand side, if I've got any aspirations of dealing with Howl, as soon as you see a knock on them, as we see shots coming in, trying to get a knock on foot, and they will take Beamy out. They've just attained 2nd place. So a bit of a blow to them, losing one of their quartet.
I love what they just did there. You guys might not have noticed, but there were 2 people shooting at the same car. They saw him get into it and gave it a second. Getrox only shot at the tires. Sail only shot towards him. That is a smart play. You go for the knock. If you don't find it, we've damaged the car. We have a player in Aimlul waiting further down the line that will then be able to take him out because the boat, 2 tires are off. So nice little distribution of responsibilities in a what must have been like a split-second decision to be made.
Oh, definitely. DA.
Small things.
Small things and small points for DA on this side.
Aren't they all? Until they kind of accumulate.
I suppose, yeah. Unfortunately, they're not accumulating for this team.
Well, that's a whole other fact.
How many more times do you need me to burn DA in this? It's a bit unfortunate for them how things have gone down. I think that, you know, given that M-Force was pushing around for them on the previous game, they should have been able to probably shut that down against M-Force, but it was not to be.
I mean, they just have to. I mean, Martin talked to me today about positive mindset.
Yeah.
Instead of saying I lost, they can say we were just behind the world champions.
I mean, yeah, you're not wrong.
Positive mindset, James.
And it's a long-form circuit where you're looking...
Exactly.
I'm not going to do the same spiel I just did.
Exactly. In the meantime, now we see the last couple of teams that have yet to make landfall in Circle 1 make their way on down. It was a very south to north plane path, kind of alerting, or I should say falsely giving the comfort to teams like Full Tip and Question Mark that go for as far north as you please, because we'll have a circle that is going to send up once more. And obviously those teams have a bit of a longer transition down towards the south. Circle is closing in though. 3 minutes to go until it will be connected as these remaining few teams try and make their way on down. But one thing's for sure, the center, well, there ain't really a whole lot, if anything at all, to come for.
Yeah, the usual spots have all really been taken.
Yeah.
The north edge,
that
we kind of talked about
Вы
it
не
the
виноваты.
previous time we kind of had this circle, but of course it was a little bit more south. All of that was not taken in the last one. It's not really taken in this one either. So yes, there's room to get into the circle, but depending on where these shifts go, you could be very sad if you pitch up north. And right now, Na'Vi is kind of, for the most part, realizing that they want something a little bit further
Вот и
towards the
Кодик
south.
подъехал.
As we have another code dropping.
Read it, James.
It's 9 little. I can't do this one. It's really difficult.
It is pretty tricky, isn't it? A lot of X's in there.
Yeah.
Doesn't exactly make it any easy. In the meantime, Howl trying to rack up some early points and at least try and scare teams off in
Кто-то
another
успешно
direction.
активировал.
Oh,
no.
Этот прекрасный один купон контрабанды. Спасибо.
And then he shot Melman in the head.
They can't catch a break.
No. I mean, that one I'm not even going to feel bad for them for, because that was on themselves.
That is true.
That's quite a lot of the other mistakes so far in this final set.
Что ты не видишь, что дали?
Catch a break here with Twisted Minds perched up, good to go. Batulin sprays down Veronica very, very quickly. Spiro finishes.
Да это купон, забей.
Karis moving cover maybe. No, we're just kind of want to move that way and try and find some more M-Force members. And might see Ribbons in the distance as he's just jogging on up that hill, but I think he'll be okay for the moment.
Norkis is playing a 1v61 in the odds of who will get the circle. Sole player on Los Hijos Island, or Prison Island, whatever you want to call it. And in just about a minute's time, we will see if he will be victorious in the Miramar Roulette.
I was going to say, if this was a roulette table, I would not put my chips on Norkis right now.
Well, I mean, then you wouldn't be winning big, would you?
No, but I'd put them elsewhere. I'd put them on James, considering his position.
Ну, у меня купон. Мне прям написали. Активируем купон. Я могу, как бы, это, ну... Напиши, что это был купон. Код.
Be quite entertaining.
I mean, do you know one location I've never ever said in my PUBG esports career?
Minas del Sur.
Minas del Sur, and now I've said it.
Minas del Sur.
Del Sur, yeah. Well, you know, I'm not exactly American.
Значит, следующий джекоины будет.
The hands are they just covering up the map so we can't see where it goes?
Looked like a gut punch. What was that?
It was them hearing you say Minas del Sur.
Yeah, well.
Yeah. Maybe. I'm not sure. Let's see, Circle. Oh, Circle, once in the chat if you think it goes to the island, two if you think it doesn't. Where are we headed? How brutal will this one be? There is a chance, but it's a small one. But for the esports, they're happy.
Guess what, Toby?
I think I saw a game yesterday that ended in an area pretty similar to this one.
Yes, you did. So, with that being said, we know this terrain well. I already knew it well because I'd seen so many damn games in this location before anyway. So let's see how it's going, because Howl is trying to make for a very important location.
Yes.
Ding's kind of already set up there, though. He's seen Exalt come on that west side early to try and get some of those compounds along the south of it. But yeah, if you're the Woo, if you're technically Howl for a moment, if you're Ding, you're feeling pretty confident right now.
Смотр, те же говорят, это купон. Значит, тебе неуспешно введено, если тебе не дали купон. Ну, значит, тебе ты не вел его, значит, и все. Написано был успех. Типа, ты хочешь сказать, что тебе что-то дали, но тебе ничего не дали.
Newcastle accent, but you know.
You can say it like T-Bone. What would you have said?
Well, yeah, I could have, but
ну, тогда это уже не к нам. Значит, тебе заскамили. Больше добавить нечего.
Twisted Minds IGL falls and Nox continues skill all fix lops and 8 start
shooting
finds 2 Ribbons and
PEC сюда.
There's 2 teams in the nearby vicinity.
Yeah, trying to move up against Twisted Minds and finding himself extra angles whilst these two are knocked. It could be the easy opportunity for them to be able to put the nail in the coffin here for Twisted Minds, but not going to be the case. Doesn't want to go too far forwards, understanding that it could be very vulnerable if he does. Kurexi falls back to the wall for the moment, and these mollies not really going to connect too much.
It's so clear to see what he's trying to do here, Fix. He doesn't want to go green, he doesn't want to be in the open, but he also knows that there are knocks available down the hill.
Не, ну если ты с попкорп на короткой ноге и тебе индивидуальные дают эти подарки, то может быть, да. А всем остальным выдают либо 100 джекоинов, либо один купон контрабанд. Другого не дают. Я не знаю, смотр, другого не дают. То есть я все коды, что вводил, мне давали либо 100 джекоинов, либо один купон. И сейчас джекоинов не дали, сказали, что дали купон. Я зашел, увидел, да, дали купон. Он не прибавился, потому что нужно его распаковывать, возможно.
they left. There was many more people than they wanted there to be.
There was a peeking.
Ну, я же еще раз тебе говорю, тебе нужно его распаковывать.
A sample of peeking, you know, just a small little bit.
Он же тебе не сразу на счет идет.
But that's it. Yeah, nothing more than that. I like that Marselec's swimming.
I mean, he might as well. They were driving south and they know that there's no one around. Issue is if Exalt spots them in the water, they are in trouble. In the meantime, now Enforce, aware of course that they have face on one side now, notes that there's question mark on the other. They can't get to their vehicles, and this is not exactly terrain for running around should the circle go south, which it does. Holy water. Are we in for an interesting one here? Plenty of teams north, plenty of teams west. Of course, the next one will shift away.
Какой интересный прок.
We go east to Ding, west to
30% воды.
Woo. Well, it's impossible to call at this point.
If Wu can hold that 2-2 split somehow throughout this game, they are
Большинство команд на севере.
up in the north location. Don't mind this. I think this
это жестко.
allows you still a transition method over to the west, but also gives you an option to go east. Whereas the previous compound on that side makes it a lot harder for you to be able to transition to the east.
Ooh.
So Fuzzface under a lot of shots. With Polish power, Marselek, you are
speaking of
stuck.
Speaking of not being able to catch a break, he's been hunted the entire game, and the remaining teammates not really been able to get on the other side just yet. Fuzzface peeked over, tried to apply suppressive fire, found the knock on one, but not more is going to happen. But look at the follow-up. Immediately after PPL catches it in the kill feed, they pull up. They want these points for themselves.
Not bad, a good opportunity here. They already see knocks that have already gone down. How much can they get done though? You kind of need to get into the buildings fast, because Ascend is actually looking at you from the distance and taking out Smash very quickly. If you're going to make this pull-up, you need to know that they're there. And actually comes around the spot here, escapes and will actually take him out very quickly alongside the Molly that's going to do some damage as well. But Fuzzface is also taking out Clip. What a disaster from Polish Power.
Не, ставок не будет.
Have all the information coming into this one. They didn't know of Ascent, they didn't know of Fuzz down by the waterfront, and now realizing it, but it's simply too late.
Я же уже сказал.
And I don't think there's any
Один раз выкатывается ставочка. Ставок нету, все, значит больше не будет. Я сказал, я сделаю, типа. Неважно, даже если снова кто-то не пришел. Несложно сделать, нет, конечно, несложно. Ну я под стат-слов, что ли, получается? Ну. Я практически лежу, ну, что ты меня напрягать-то будешь? Я же так же хочу, как этот, ну, как все настоящие мужчины, посмотреть телевизор. Да делал правильно, неправильно. Я просто сказал, что делаю ставку, не ставите, не буду делать, все. По итогу сделал ставку, не поставили, все. То есть, ну, какие еще вопросы? Ну. Не-не-не, смотрим, не сегодня.
Better place to go than exactly where we ended the game yesterday. Now, we don't necessarily like repetitive circles, but for all it is...
Я же говорю, ну лежу. Лежу, тоже отдыхаю, смотрю.
Sarvam is going to finish off some question mark down at the bottom. BBL is gone. Full tilt clears that out because they now need to start moving. Okay, Toby, do you want me to repeat everything I said yesterday?
Множитель я и не могу поменять, вот что я увидел.
The viewers know. I want you to talk about Polish powers crossing on over while 6 people are shooting at him.
Red alert, scary, care. Oh, actually not too bad. Help from the other side here. As Norcus unfortunately will get completely taken out. But Crunio is going to be one of the only ones remaining here. Still Fuzz is on the beach, and Navi's actually laying in some shots against him. But yeah, Exalt's been able to deal with that quite well.
I mean, Navi played into it from this position yesterday too, and up until the point where FaZe pushed over and ended up taking them out, they were looking very good pushing up and pushing that southern side. So we'll see how they manage to do things similar here in this one. In the meantime, Mark being lit on fire, all of them fall as Sarvan continues to run. So sat down there in the bottom, but slowly trying to claw their way out of the bottom 5.
4 kills is 4 kills. Yep, you can start leaping with something like that, especially in these moments. However, coming in from the west on this circle, said it so many times yesterday. It's rough. Well, how are they?
Бля, я думал, честно, на шпагах только у нас в Дискорде могут общаться люди. Видимо, нет. Даже забавно посидеть, почитать, что вы друг на друга, чем это закончится, ну.
Completely understand that they can take center positions on this circle in the ridge lines that exist. The teams were using yesterday to try and transition against one another. Now teams are just inhabiting that location.
Yeah.
So there's even more teams, significantly more teams than yesterday's scenario.
So our eyes are on face as they try to make their committed rotation on through 3, make that 4 in the vehicle. We've seen it before when teams do this. It usually does not end up well, but here they come full speed forward. First one already forward, and that is teams 1 nade. Could be the downfall of the boys. First nade connects.
Бум-бум-бум. 3 хаешки сразу. Ой-ой-ой-ой, ара. Филигранная. Ой, успел. Доработал под Марка. Да, это жестко.
FaZe here really stuck between a rock and a hard place, clumped up, a big damage from nades, huge damage from nades in fact, but that's DA holding this down, and this is exactly what we were talking about. The fact that these locations are very taken in advance because everybody's reviewed the games from yesterday. They know how to try and approach this location now compared to the previous scenario.
Now the new circle pops. This is crucial. What we see now from Ascent is not something we saw before. All of Ascent was east. They had the compound that Brexco was in. They leave it because they figure this one is going to go east. But just a moment ago, just before FaZe drove down the hill, and when we had Sabim on the other hillside still, Brexco drove back alone, claimed that compound for himself, and now Ascent might actually have more than they can chew off here, but very prime real estate on both sides of this valley.
Yeah, I think it's a deterrence play as well, to just make sure, like, okay, so if a team is going to try and move into this location, it is one location where we may be vulnerable over on that east side from. So, well, and so far so good. Sarvum's not moving too much, and they have been warded off a little bit by Brexco. As Exalt down towards the bottom, it's just Molodok here trying to make something happen. They are still in 5th place. Anything they can get here will be very important to keep up with that top 4.
Yep, I like the fact that Molodok starts shooting, because what if they find something there? Brexco found by Nixie, and that is suboptimal. Of course, wouldn't have wanted that to happen. They had the real estate on both sides now, forced to commit to him. But again, then maybe at least they don't have to wonder so much what they're going to do. Now, full commit. We'll go east, and then hopefully for them the circle doesn't go west.
But again, kind of what I was saying about Brexco's position, now you see some shots being traded between Ascend and Sarvum. So for Ascend, they're going to be committing smokes to try and deny these lines of sight for the moment, because if you go north, then you're suddenly in the range of other teams. If you go south, you're suddenly in the range of other teams.
Опять с обреза. Кто с обреза убивает людей? То не Мирамар, то обреза. Мирамар, обреза. Это мета. Мета.
Realizing that there's quite a few quite a few enemies on this other side of the ridge line. Spots get rocks initially, Spots 2 anticipating them to come out on the other side. Spots in a quick peek through the hole in the smoke. That Spots the second one as well. Aim low. Now forced to stop, take the peek and return. Goes down to the blue. But Alia falls as well.
Bit too much of a commitment, actually, with that spray down from Senya here. These guys are still very good at being able to return the fire against you. So, smoke, interesting smoke. From example, to keep this going, as now Ding is trying to move up against the Na'Vi position. That knock on Alia really assisted them so much in any attempt that they're going to be making.
This is a huge fight as well, not so much for DA, but definitely for Ruin and how.
А вот и Ховли сейчас будут принимать других турков, своих сородичей.
Knowing their position they're up against, knowing the team that they're trying to deal with. More damage coming through, but Ruin able to connect one onto Cote Margo. That's him down. Na'Vi does come out victorious against Ding. As we stay on this fight, Howl now finding the double. The Mad, nice off-angle position.
Давай, Валя.
If they can take this away from DA, that'd be nice. But the Wu is actually moving up against this as well. They hear the fight, know what's going on. Quizzy, though, is not looking in the right direction at all. Takes a huge amount of shots to the body. And he's going to have to fall away from this. And now Howl is aware that there are other threats looming.
Whereas now,
Ладно.
this as well, they've reset, they've seen the last full tilt player fall, they should be looking north.
Просто примерно так же это.
Towards the Howl position, but how exactly does
Так обычно прощаешься.
Grand look? How exactly does it Grand Navi benefits to try and cover that angle? It doesn't. I think
Сейчас поляки с M4 зарубятся походу. И убах пойдет их фармить.
When these circles are going this way, Sarvam's making a big send to try and get across this road. That's their only option there on the west. And if they can push up close to Ascend, and maybe they're in range of nades, but we'll see. We'll see.
Stop down low. See the crate land outside in the blue. Unlucky, but it is what it is. And now, how I'm not sure they're aware. I mean, they should be aware that Ascend is still alive.
Не, да что-то грубо.
So as much as they're alive, as long as Ascend is in too, the dream stays alive. And also look at the leaderboard.
Крунио сейчас будет. Нарбивенс чувствует его. Рафа пошел, говорит, пойдем. Я с обреза ему дам. Плохая флешка, плохая.
Had he not flashed himself, that would have been the perfect peek. He does it again. Peek it.
Not going to go for it, just using it as a delay tactic here. Hearing Dogs is moving on that north side, so he's a little bit scared about the proximity between him and the third player.
Игрок норм, тип говно. Ну. Команде нужен игрок, как говорится.
Spots a car, spots one, spots two. Has info on both. Now goes for the shots, but only connects.
Ой, плохо стреляли.
It was almost high ground magic for Na'Vi, but yeah, not getting a knock off that does now alert Howl. The sirens are ringing here against Na'Vi. Shots coming out. The Mad though, I wouldn't be trading with these guys. But even then, if you peek over there, you see the Wu was the one that was shooting Na'Vi as well. So keep your high ground, keep you guys alive.
Да не.
Play as these circles.
Это просто не пошло. Але жестко. Просто не пошло. Давление на них слишком большое, на самом деле, про это происходит. От них все слишком жестокого перформанса ждут. Когда не пошло ты. Когда не пошло, это все мы.
Unfortunate there for Na'Vi, not only to be able to get an extra kill, but also the steal on the one that was down potentially. And that's well.
Example развалил просто всех из M4. Просто весь коллектив развалил. Соляра от Example. Гладиатор прямо мощный. Ой, не дочекает, слишком хорошо. Бородач лежит.
Somehow get up there undetected. We'll see. Quizzy here now taking out Howl, and this is where the pinch is going to be felt because Na'Vi is also shooting at them here from the south. Howl,
Я походу, конечно, Ховли сядут.
To take them out at the moment.
We are late in the
game. Немцы-то живут.
This is a guaranteed high point game for any of these teams still alive, but there's so many solos up right now that if Howl falls without more kills before any other teams eliminated, this is a 4-point game for them.
True. Yeah, there's not many points just yet on
Сампля. Не Example, а Example.
Against them, Lou finally falls, so those placement points are going to start slowly racking up now as the final solo, or one of the solos has been taken out, but
не, ну если Тиглтон говорит, что Example сейчас самый лучший игрок в PUBG, я думаю, Тиглтону можно прямо на слово это верить, потому что Тиглтон сам какое-то время был лучшим игроком. И он признает другого лучшего игрока. Если он признает, так и есть. Ну и плюс, какой перформанс выдавал на глобале Example, там реально уровень бог был просто. Ну и прямо сейчас, ну, экземпл наглядно показывает, почему это так было.
Well, you know, just shoot everything, I guess. I mean, they've already got themselves 7 kills. So, yeah, exactly. Example himself has 5, and they're actually trying to take out people as well as steal.
Ой, вот и Аля. И доел, и забрал еще лахзунок. Хорошо.
More points guaranteed for Howl, even in a tricky position. They will fall in 5th, though. So a 7-point game. Make that a 6-point
пошла разыгровочка. Немцы, турки, ЕУ и наши мальчики.
They need to come out with a lot of points here. So far, 4 kills, but a loss of a player.
Still alive, yeah. Could have been 4 if it had not been that flex out by Brexco. Which seemed now at this point a little bit overzealous to try and control all of that area on your own. But the Wu up in the north are looking to try and find themselves a spot. Now the problem does arise from the fact that Na'Vi has really good lines of sight on a lot of locations that the Wu could even take.
10 киллов у Na'Vi-то. Мне кажется, если они еще одну ультимативную игру сделают, они станут в конкуренты. За топ-8, это точно. СРМ там где-то ползают прямо.
Sooner rather than later, teams will start fighting one another around them.
They're getting away with an amazing transition here. I'm surprised that Na'Vi's allowed them to do that, but there are gonna be.
Ну так этого достаточно, чтобы давать ультимативные игры. Этого достаточно, чтобы показывать большой перформанс. Килякай все.
That is the player you would not want to lose there, because he was a surprise element. He was the one to weaken the team pushing up on you.
Нави идут на охоту. Нави хотят больше поинтов. Ой, Мелман словил картошечку горячую. Ой-ой-ой-ой-ой-ой-ой, обосрался. А вот экземпль. Пошел. Надо жрать людей, экземпл, пора. Но он хай-сенсор на хай-сенсе, это фу, забей. То есть, ну, я не знаю. Я раньше признавал хай-сенс, сейчас нет. Когда я прочувствовал, что такое лоу-сенс в этой игре, я понял, что это все конечно.
You see the confusion. It's like phantoms just suddenly disappearing, but behind you, they're going to pop out. This is terrifying.
Боже, немцы просто ничего не делают, просто инактив.
So they'll be 3 alive. The way in which this game has moved, the teams have moved.
Нужно мелодония для победы? Да.
The timing of Mika and Chris is absolute. Like as you said, phantom escape in this position.
Немцы просто зашли в ушком в спину и лежат, смотрят на них. Господи, как это коварно! Боже мой! Сюда, бля! И Нави должны забирать эту каточку. Ой, пригорит? Нет, не пригорит. Кинуть-то уже нечего. 2 смока, нечего, раскидывать у Нави нету. Как немцы коварно, бля. Айва. Все, Нави сюда. 13 киллов. Ну много, они еще много могли сделать. Они могли СРМов убить, они могли ЗВ убить и еще немцев.
as soon as that circle goes, Caesar said yesterday, Na'Vi, while they didn't win because they got backfilled by FaZe.
Ну, это было бы слишком идеально, если бы они вот этот круг почета бы оформили. А так это, блин, ну, такое.
Especially against example, he's a cyborg. He has eyes unlike any other. But anyway, it is time to head over to the desk after this break, and then we'll be back for more Arangel. See you soon.
Пойду кофейку сделаю.
One knock under the window. Nice. No way. Just smoke for you fast. Just throw smoke.
2v4.
No, I mean, he stole it.
You need to swim, I think.
Yeah, but there's like...
I need to swim,
Ace shooting on north, careful.
This is Sparta! When you get out, Clip.
Yeah.
And OG, it's one out.
I'm not near. You should play on right side.
Near me, near me. I'm 1 HP. Healing outside.
I'm safe.
This guy on the other side of the fucking
Just chill with smoke, just chill with smokes.
I have no smokes.
Who guys went on?
Just went in. Okay. Start first, still.
One guy in the compound. Yeah, one guy.
I see him. Tagged twice. No, one time. On the right side.
He's 1 HP. He's knocked. He might be knocked. He might be knocked.
No, he's not. He is. One is knocked. On your house.
Exalt 4.
Flashed.
Wait on it, small guys. X only 2 left.
Exalt only 2 on compound, right?
One is not alive.
Nice.
People behind on the hill.
Flash only.
People on the hill behind.
Go down,
No,
left,
maybe.
left.
Full one active. Behind shooting me.
Right to the circle. Running left smoke, you saw him? He's in the smoke now. In the
This
smoke.
one, right?
Yes.
Don't mid offer.
I'm flashing.
We've just seen our final Miramar game of the Grand Finals here at the PUBG EMEA Championship, and I have to say, before this game, I specifically said, is it even worth talking about Na'Vi? Apparently, it is, because, hello, here we are. The PGC champs, they pop up and they go, you know what, actually, we forgot we were playing in this. Let's get another chicken dinner in the bag because we need some points.
You've done it again, Sam. You've bullied people into performing effectively, and it's such a good strategy.
I should be a coach, apparently.
Just shout at people and they start winning, but they do have to knock their teammate at the start of the game first, just to, whip each other into shape as well. Bullying themselves, it might be, but whatever it takes, really. This was, I mean, it was such a similar set of positions, such a similar zone to what we saw in Game 3 of yesterday. And it was so interesting to see the way that very similar interactions happened across the course of the game, just with very different names attached to them. Like on the West Hill, this time you see Sarvam taking out Question Mark in a very similar way to the way that Ascend was able to take out Foot in yesterday's matches. But one thing was consistent through both, and that's Na'Vi making it to the late game.
Ascend has had such an incredible journey through these grand finals. Consistently good. They've played some really good PUBG. They get themselves into good positions. It's just impressive to see, and I feel like this is a team. We've spoken a lot about Foot and BBL and these lineups and how powerful they are, but Ascend just as a team and the way they work together, very exciting for the future and even for the end of this tournament, because I think that they have the potential to finish in the top 4.
They could definitely finish in the top 4. They could also finish in the top 2, where if we don't have a global partner team there, that's obviously PGS1 for them. That's super exciting. That's their goal. That is their main goal coming in here. They want to go to the global events, of course, and yeah, I'm honestly super excited for the guys and the team doing this well. You see here 13 points again. Their consistency, both in placement and in kills, is just flowing through. But of course, 23 points for Na'Vi. Not gonna make too big of a difference for them in terms of the top leaderboard, but they are gonna be moving into those deeper PGC points.
He brought it up, the big C word, consistency. What did we say at the end of game number 1 when Foot and BBL were scrapping it out in top 2 positions? We said this can't be the outlier. This can't be the one game that's good and the rest of them are rubbish, 0 pointers. This time, neither of them picked up a single point in this game. That leaves the door open for other teams, particularly, again, Ascend, a team that now has had a chance to extend their lead. That makes it so much more difficult for Foot, despite the fact it's still only a 10-point gap. They're running out of time.
Na'Vi has had 2 chicken dinners in this grand final, and that is barely enough.
Incredible that they're only on 11th with 64 points now.
Barely enough to get them into the mix, and I think that it speaks to how close this entire lobby has been, how competitive it has been when you look at those total points.
I will say this though, 14 points up to 5th now. That is huge point. We're talking hundreds of points in just potentially 2 games here that they can move up. And that is what they are obviously aiming for. They have to finish as high as possible. It is out of the running now for them, unless they win the next games, all of the rest 3 games here in a wrangle with the double digits. They could maybe make something happen, but still, it's unlikely that they're going to finish in top 2, but they have to get as high as possible. But I'm loving what I'm seeing from them. Like, this is the Na'Vi that we know. The highest of the highest. This is the kind of game that we know.
Патули на горе.
And they just showed us exactly why.
Не, Мирамаров больше не.
Look at the rest of the lobby and how well other teams are performing. I think there was a time when Na'Vi could have had these 4 games and actually finished in first place. But when I just look at the level of PUBG that's being played, it's just not good enough anymore. You can't leave it till the last day.
And we can't also understate that Twisted Minds is sort of down here. You know, they're creeping up. They're only 2 points ahead of Na'Vi now. So as much as we can say, Na'Vi's had a bit of a stinky tournament, but they've won a couple of good games. Twisted Minds have been consistently a little bit better, but the peaks haven't quite been there. They've got the 1 win on the board, and that's all they've got to work with. But teams like Howl,
Не, у нас сейчас 3 рангеля последние пойдут.
As they were in the previous set of games on day number 1, they're still consistently creeping their way up. They got something like 12 points in game number 1, 6 points this time. They're still averaging decent margins, and it just makes it that much harder for any team to try and have that aspiration of first place to actually catch up.
How exciting is it that European PUBG has got to this point at the start of the year, a big shake-up, which means the rest of the year is going to be pretty exciting, as is the rest of the games. What's also exciting is that I get to announce a winner now. I told you earlier on that we were giving away a bunch of different things that you could get. You could get contraband coupons, and we have a winner for today. So congratulations, Всем. You did tweet us, and the team that he said he thinks is going to win it is Ascend, and he says that they deserve it. It's their time. So he might be right, which will be interesting. We'll talk about that. I love how my voice cracked in that moment. If you clip this on Twitch for Sim, I'm sorry about that. Anyway, enough talking from us. It is time now to get into the Erangel games. 3 left before we crown a champion. So Kalaris, Toby, let's go to Erangel.
For round number 2, the game is changing up a little bit. I'm going to ask you a question. The first player to hit their buzzer will get to answer. If you get the question correct, you get a point. If you get it incorrect, you lose a point. And then I move on to the next person who buzzed. Are your fingers ready to hit the buzzer?
I'm ready.
Okay. First question. What is the name of the supply drop that is dropped randomly from the sky during a match? First person to hit that button was James.
Airdrop.
Minus a point, James.
Nice one.
That's incorrect. So Fex, you're up next.
Care package.
That is correct. Fix gets a point.
So
Well
smart, bro.
done.
So smart. It's crazy.
That's not fair.
Insane.
What type of ammo does a Lynx AMR have? Okay, first person to hit the button was James. Let's go.
50 cal.
That's correct. You get a point. Well done. Moving on to the third question. What is the rarity of a Zest silk scarf? Right, we have someone. James, you've hit it.
It's a legendary rarity.
-1. James, you are actually incorrect.
Oh, don't be afraid to lose a point here, guys. Go in.
I'm afraid, bro. I'm shaking.
Okay, so the correct level was elite. But everyone else was playing it super safe. Final question in round number 2 is, how long does it take to use a first aid kit? James is at it again. What's the answer?
He's pre-clicking it. He's pre-clicking it. He's pre-firing it.
I'm just sitting here spamming.
No.
It's 7.5 seconds.
Huh?
No. Correxy?
6 seconds.
That is correct.
He googled it, bro.
It doesn't matter, hands up. So here we go at the end of round 2. This is what the points look like at the moment. Fex is still in the lead with 3 points. And Corexy is now in second with 2 points. Gustav, you have 1 point. And James, you have no points.
Come on, James, man. That scarf isn't Thunder Fury, Blessed Blade of the Windseeker or anything like that. It was... Why does he think it's legendary? What's going on?
It looks kind of cool, I suppose.
Yeah, but it's not, is it? So it's not as cool. It's not as cool. We've got ourselves 3 more games remaining here as we have Erangel, the grassy pastures on the way. For a moment, I thought, wow, Erangel looks very different there. Every time we go to Gustav's camera, I'm like, he just looks radioactive. Why is he so bright in his room?
Radioactive Dracula. It's kind of a weird mix of genres that I wasn't expecting to see in a PUBG tournament.
Yeah. Well, let's get to it here. It is going to be game 13 here out of 15. And right now, teams have to catch up to Howl. And they do well on Erangel. As we now have the play.
We say well overall. Yesterday, I'm just instantly thinking back to games where they were rotating, and then rotating some more. They were not having the best of times in the league.
Давай, представляй, что ты ставишь.
And again, I mean, it doesn't really matter how much teams try to catch up if they can maintain that lead. Howl. And also, we're reaching a potential hot drop season. I mean, imagine being Howl, open qualifier team, wanting to make their way through. What about if a global partner team hot drops them because they are already qualified for PGS?
I mean,
now that would be.
They have nothing to lose in there.
That's what I'm saying. That would be the something.
The ultimate, the ultimate BM I'm going to go with because
Нет,
I am usually all for the hot drop talks and the hot drop scenarios. However, for still teams that, you know, like
Сегодня
the majority
говорю
of
же,
PGC
ставок
points,
нема.
even the invited teams that want PGC points, if they were invited to PGC, yeah, sure, do what you want. But because you're not, I do think every point still matters a lot.
But if you're a FaZe Clan team who's already set top 3, top 5, but not guaranteed necessarily, but close enough.
I mean, what's the, like, you're dropping on opposite sides of the maps in a lot of scenarios as well. What's your point in taking out a Howl, for example?
What's your point in not taking them out, James? Okay. You're the ones that embrace the chaos more than anyone in the
Не,
world.
я так не говорю. Я давал. Я давал, Варик. Вы сами обосрались там.
Yes, Toby, you're right. I'm being unusually irrational for someone that wants to watch the world burn. You are correct.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with the rational.
Каждый день меняет название.
Here I am trying to spice things up for once.
Они были НЛТ, потом они были ВП, потом они были опять НЛТ, потом их подписал какая-то там шейхи арабские Twisted Minds. Вот они Twisted Minds по итогу. Ну, легче поэтому говорить батут и компания.
Different compared to usual.
They saw what FaZe were doing on Miramar yesterday, looting both down towards the southern side and Chuma and Adriera, and they're like, guys, we can split wider. They haven't done it just yet, but they do have Liquid Compound and Ruins and a lot in between. Because of that, they're set very split.
Come on.
And because of that, teams like Twisted Minds
Жестко лут.
We saw you in your parachutes, and then we saw you in your cars. You're not near one another. That's a freebie.
But this draws me back to like game 1 or 2 of yesterday, where I'm like, okay, you know Twisted Minds is around here. Why are we driving around in cars? Once again, you know Twisted Minds is around here. Why are we really trying to force this separation? Like, so yeah.
And not just a Twisted Minds that we know like to take fights late game and play it safe early. A Twisted Minds that is hungry as hell for points. And if you like go out and start just trying to say, oh, we're over here, we're alone, you can be damn sure they'll come for you.
Yeah, just dangling that bait, basically, and you're really not getting the best of it. Your bait's going to be taken, your rod's going to be taken, your arm's going to go with it, and for Twisted Minds, they're going to be happy and swimming away.
And the worst thing is, when you do try to utilize this sort of pearls on a string, very fragile playstyle, which doesn't necessarily end poorly, when you lose the center player, when you lose the connector between those two outside links, all of a sudden getting back together, should you want to do that eventually, becomes, if not impossible, then incredibly difficult, because now you have Metralius and Iroh in Rossok, and again, still Mert all the way east towards Liquid Compound.
I do have a question.
Минут через 7 список топ-1 вряд ли.
Danish translation to English.
Игра только началась.
Yes, I thought so. You've used it twice, and I was like, that's interesting.
What would you say on a chain?
I don't think we ever kind of bait with pearls, to be honest.
But you know what I mean, though? It's just a line with like... Boop,
well, what you're saying makes sense, yes.
That is all I'm asking for, James. Thank you so much for even Jesus
for once.
James just said what I say makes sense. I'm going to live off of that high for the rest of my life.
Okay, all right. That's your Polish
first time I've heard it in my 5 years of casting, James.
Well, yeah. I mean, we haven't really cast that much together. But I know. It's funny because I can only imagine from our 2 times casting here together, the audience is like, wow, they really don't like each other. And I hope that proliferates.
I was going to say, I hope that they know that it is true. Yeah. You see, this is me carrying James in an image in the bottom right. We had to stand still for a long time to make that work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. As you say, 3, 5, 4, thumb. Silly giant.
I'm not even sure what you're trying to do there. What I am sure of, though, is DA are trying to get back to their teammate. And as we were saying, because they're set like pearls on a string, they were going to have a hard time regrouping, as proven here. Good thing for them is they do manage to succeed. At least a bit. Neutralis is still sat in the Alamo compound southwest of Liquid Compound. So still a little whiles to go for them to get fully together. But for now...
К религии неравнодушны? 100%.
Clip, hit something. Hit it!
You gotta go, Palpatine. Do it.
Do it.
Oh, imagine if you had hit that shot there. That would have been so clippable.
Did you say clippable?
For multiple reasons.
You know what? That wasn't bad.
It says, I'm just going compliment after compliment right now. I'm on a streak.
Yeah, I'm confused.
More so than clips, shots, connecting. This is what you guys don't see. What you usually see is that one shot that hits. It takes practice.
Like when we showed in the clip in the car.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
If you want to do this, you got to practice. And doing it while you're at home is not enough. You got to do it during games too. Just keep on shooting. Keep on ringing that bolt action. And one day you get the shot. And then it doesn't matter that you missed 1,000 times. Because it's the one time you hit it, that's going to go up on YouTube.
Eventually one will hit.
Mm-hmm. That's at least been the case so far for Clip. He does tend to make some pretty theatrical plays with those bold actions.
A minor thing, ding.
We're talking about headshots now. Dink.
Well, I was about to say dinked themselves slightly on a car. A bit of damage sustained whilst driving around down there, but they'll be okay. As we see first now rocket to heaven and
Sky Guardian.
Subsequently turning around. Who was calling it Sky Guardian?
I mean, that was Frost because he couldn't spell it, but it was Paper Thin who said Sky Garden.
Oh,
because that is the Asian call out.
Yeah.
Or the Korean call out.
Silly, wrong Paper Thin. No.
Now we got to throw in some Bandit too. Yesterday the desk was talking about the NA production. Now we get to talk about the Korean.
That's true.
Yeah.
There was actually a moment where if they'd have come to us really quickly after that, I was going to go, yeah, Paper Thin sucks too. But, you know, it's...
You just want to be disliked by everyone who doesn't get the references.
Не, не согласен. Дота крутая игра.
In the meantime, two teams that arguably should not.
Просто комьюнити в ней говно, а игра крутая. Причем в Валоранте самое токсичное комьюнити, которое в принципе есть. Поэтому Я удивлен был, что Дота не победила в этом плане. Мне кажется, футболисты и выиграть могут вообще этот турнир. Что-то они больно как-то ультимативно действуют. Достаточно. Небольшой разрыв у них. Но у немцев еще меньше. Если немцы выиграют этот турик, это будет нечто. Танки поиграл Time Toxic, а Дота просто для чепушил? Не-не. Танки я поиграл. Это слишком для меня мало динамики в игре в принципе. Поэтому я не осуждаю. Так, а у нас Корик.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, read the code, James. No, I can't do this one either. It was a one and done. I'm not even gonna try anymore. It was a one and done. It was a one and done. But claim the code.
Код кинул в чат.
Right? How many English players are on Premier League?
Но у меня лобби, так что я его не успею вести. Хотя бы вы успеете. А, у меня всегда так. На 100 джекоинов у меня лобби в говне немножечко. Все, код недействительный. Ну, главное, я чатик успел кинуть, остальное насрать.
This was clean.
The drive-by swing from Beamy. You could see what Chris was trying to do. Out of the car, insta-flush, but didn't get the chance to.
That was extremely clean. Really cool little look in there at foot. And again, just very clear comms that we're seeing from them here. Very calm, calculated as we continue things on now. And the circle is about to shift. Where are we heading? North?
Yes, Naya!
Very hard shift again. So, well, two things can happen here. Ascend can go to their center spot that I was thinking that they were just going to send to anyway, which is nice for them. And Foot is going to be playing downhill from Stalber to start things off.
Ascend is going to crash straight into the north side of his Naya.
Хорош.
Bathroom and play James PUBG.
James PUBG.
Shotguns and bathrooms. Yeah. Chilling it out until top 5 guaranteed.
Listening to cool music, thinking I'm cool.
And probably not going to be listening to music, unless if Chris starts beatboxing in the background. But until that happens, I don't think that's going to be the case.
Yeah, you kind of need those audio cues, I suppose.
Yeah. I mean, they could just close the door and wait for it to open, but definitely they would want to try and play this one wisely. A lot of teams are opting to go towards Yasnaya. The teams that aren't trying to find a way around it. Everyone has opted to leave. Impulse, I think, have
Как же машину лагает.
now, and you can see here, speaking of north side apps,
Не, а у немцев двоих нету.
And BBL has claimed the west, and just because the city has the size it does, we can actually house one, maybe two more teams.
Тяжелая ситуация-то.
Yeah, and this actually really works out for Ascend because
it does.
Now with these kind of barrier teams set up just on their doorstep but not really threatening them, there's no real tenacity from these teams next to them to move over to the next building. So this is going to allow them to survive for a while.
And the great thing for them is they came into this position same time as FaZe, so FaZe would have hurt the vehicles. At least 2 cars. I mean, no clue how many players are in those cars because they come into the building from the other side. So I think FaZe are opting to play aggro on them in this. As I say that, though, I am seeing some FaZe Clan movement.
Oh, yeah.
With this early on in the game.
Yeah, I think they were just moving from the south building to the north right here, just to make sure that they're all together here if things go south, or sour, I should say, as opposed to south. But now we take
Ой-ой-ой, лужку нокнули, добили.
West side of Yasnaya at the moment, and Twisted Minds trying to take the little hills above Yaz Pond, and
Обида.
you can exist in them for a little while. You just got to be careful of some of the
Но Батут на этом турнире не выглядит как топ-1 команда. Тут уж...
that Twisted Minds didn't kind of instantly pull up on this because Clip was still transitioning down towards those houses. So
Бери машину. Нормально будет.
Just yet on this circle, and Howl is one of them. They're far out towards the east in the blue, now wrapping around Lipovka, not around Lipovka, but down by Lipovka, trying to find an entry. I like the fact that they're going north on this one, though, if that is what they're opting to do, because knowing how many teams comes into the south, you would have to expect, even if you can't see anything, have to expect that there's going to be room on the north.
I get the impression across these 3 games, again, just speculation, we will see a very defensive Howl.
They have
now.
They have
400. И все равно взять толком нечего.
You've got a little bit of a buffer, and Ascend is wounded, so This is a great opportunity for them to play it slow, play it from this side. And yeah, okay, the circle may shift away from you, but if you keep
400 и взять нечего.
then you're giving yourself better chances to stay alive longer.
I mean, we're talking about their first place spot potentially being overtaken. Technically, oh, let's listen into what they're saying. That was after the knock.
Nice.
Nice, good push.
Oh, they lost one here.
Nice.
They killed the early.
Easy, peasy, nice, clean execution. Comes once again as well. But as we're saying, Howl, yes, we're keeping track of the second place to first place point difference, but for Howl, really, it's down to third. Because as long as they get top 2, that's PGS guaranteed. Of course, you want to win the tournament, but for Howl, I think top 2 is really the most important. There's quite a bit buffer from second down to third as well.
If you're getting to PGS as Howl in this lobby, that's an absolute triumph. Yep. That is career defining for them at that point. Anyway, we have a migration happening across a lot of these fields at the moment, trying to get up to the top here. Foot has the compound, the compound that they're going to try and hold on tooth and nail. They're going to claw away. All these other teams are trying to move on against them. There is spots underneath that compound that you can take on those hillsides.
Gangbang.
Howl is coming back down the hillside. Elliot just shot Milman. Navi, can you stop shooting each other?
Ой,
Correction in the meantime.
я уж думал, это этот Никзи попал.
Ruin falls as well. Howl tried to make the way up the hillside, realizing they were beaten on the race, trying to come back down, and now they're starting to take casualties.
Yeah, they've got themselves absolutely stuck here. If the teams in Yasnaya don't finish them off, eventually once the teams in the
Если топ-1, не.
then they'll take them out. So this is a disaster.
Они на этом турнире сдулись что-то. Сердечки.
People walking in front, man. These windows, anywhere they go, I don't know where exactly they
Сердечки,
are. West side here of Yasnaya, but
сердечки, деньги, топ-1.
Over there by Ding, by Iroh, who is knocked at the moment, but it's M-Force as well as Twisted Minds that have found themselves spots on the cliffs. Those are all important cliffs underneath this compound.
Good nade, doesn't stop on the car, no it
Ой,
does.
хорошая.
Flies further. Blows up in the air, that one.
Вылетело, эх.
Fortunately, for Ding up above.
Надо было таймить.
Team knock comes through, but for now, able to stay put.
I do like the idea of like say 4 or 5 consistently missed grenades as you go. Maybe that one. There was.
Фляга посвистела у пацанов.
Expecting the unexpected.
Just the intention to hype and then go further.
Yeah, it's like the lawnmower that won't start.
Yeah, that's how I would describe you. We've got ourselves.
Да все, это комментаторы эти сломались, несите новых.
Polish Power trying to take some shots over against FaZe, and again,
этим уже пора отдыхать.
These buildings right next to one another, they are a little bit stuck, but it doesn't matter since they're in the circle right now. Sorry, this commentary is rubbish. I was just trying to recover.
You're doing a great job at it, Jim. Fantastic recovery. Marcelik does know that Correx is down based on the nape of that smoke, even though it blooms on the first floor. It takes down the middle floor as well, or the third floor, I should say. Takes out the middle floor too.
Nice,
so that should be the rest coming through. The tree is on. But actually, it's only one branch. It's rather impressive.
Yeah, I've never seen that.
That's not how trees work. In this case, it is, though. We know the next circle is shifting out of water. That is why no one is set far west except for Exalt, because they know they're coming in late anyway. No reason to go over Celis here. Let's wait and see what's going to happen. Circle east, Yasnaya Fields is where we're going. Howl.
Страдания Нави могут окупиться.
2 players alive, no kills thus far, and far outside of placement points still.
Yeah, I highly doubt they're going to get anything more off of this game, but, you know, magic can happen.
Yeah.
As we have Sarvam somehow threading the needle between these teams. I'm not sure they haven't had many shots go over their way, but they're trying to rendezvous with the other duo moving on around. And this has somehow worked out kind of okay, but not really, because they're really not in the circle and not a great spot. But they're alive.
Не, да, сейчас помрут они, согласен.
It really is bad for them that it's FaZe that is set on the inside of this, because they know, again, if we want to get first place,
Еще один коллектив пришел на M-Force. Хаешки раскидывают.
If teams wanted to have a chance to catch up, it had to happen early, and this might just be the start of the
Оля жопа горит.
That's what everyone but Howl and their fans are hoping for.
Back to the car. Still those teams underneath those hillsides where that compound is from foot.
Давайте ставочку заряжу. Заедут ли Нави в топ-3? Или нет? Да или нет? Все.
as we continue on. We're still keeping an eye on that Yasnaya spot, which will stalemate for a little longer.
Yeah, they get the knocks, they get the info as to who sat next to you.
Ставочка, заедут ли Нави в топ-3 или нет?
But for now, I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of commotion in the city itself. That is a,
Да, я слова не держу. Я грязный ублюдок.
But he actually got him on the second one, so I guess Aimlul must have ran back thinking, one was enough, he's not going to throw a second, but
yeah. The more you know. The more you know. Savim finds one, has to continue rotating on through. They have an angle.
Доживут ли Нави до топ-3? Да? Нет. Ставка идет 1 минута. Все. Они еще живые, они еще живые. Все. Ставка 1 минута.
The prone peak, the insta drop shot takes out the player, just like that thing out of the equation here. Huge fight for Savim as they try to claw their way up the leaderboard.
It's my favorite moment of the tournament. We've got ourselves.
Fair.
We have ourselves now the Wu, though, which will eventually try and wrap around on them. Full Tilt is going for, again, full send mode onto where Navi is. They are going to get blitzed down here. There's no way they're going to survive that. Too many teams firing at them.
Points? You want some points?
Any points?
Hello, anybody want some points?
That was
2 of them, and they gave it to 2 different teams. Fair.
Easy delivery of points.
It was pretty simple, but again, shared between 2 teams could not come in any more fair than this. Wu, they were sat further down towards the south. They heard the action up here between Savim and Ding. They wanted a piece of it, realizing now they're a little bit too late to the party. They will slow things down, if not just put. Meantime, circle goes north. We are going.
Нет, ставок не будет больше, да, походу?
While the camera was down there before, it should just go down there again.
А, да, отмена. Ладно. Фонтанная ставка.
What's cool about what Twisted Minds is doing positioning-wise at the moment, whilst they're
Ну и ладно.
south, which isn't ideal, is that whilst they would like to have seized the M-Force position, they know that there's always a team up in that compound. They might not know exactly who it is.
Ну и смотри, сейчас Нави переживут. Я бы на них поставил. Не-не-не. Володя не трожь. Володя, это наш царь. Будет правителем, пока смерть не разлучит его. Не, я уже делал, все.
As they continue to try and clean up here, but Voldemort has something to say about it. Once again, question mark taking
Нету, у тебя оппонентов нет.
How many team knocks you can get in one game? Twisted Minds backfilling BBL, trying to deal with them here as well. Fights happening all over the place as Savim falls and BBL are instantly there to follow.
Yeah, a bit of a Hail Mary for BBL here, considering that the push that they're trying to make and where they were previously to all of that. And now Twisted Minds, they're still... They kind of reset their mind once again back to what they were doing originally, waiting for that team to come down from that compound, because that is...
Боже, как тут им душно. Пызы, кейсы, поляки.
Ascend and face both down inside Yasnaya here in the apartments, but it's Polish power currently that are under fire. Going from one building to another, Masterleg is knocked. They're trying to get him back up on his feet. Smokes deployed, taking up the entire street.
Мелман хорош. Аля, тоже веселый добряк, челик. Экземпл тоже не ЧСВшный. Нормальный чел. За обуха, как говорится, не знаю, не говорю. Ну, я тебе говорю, за обуха я не знаю ничего. Чтобы сидеть говорить, что он там плохой, неплохой. ЧСВ про так без мазы.
As Brexco finds the other. Polish power in trouble. Ascent getting points despite being down to 2 right from the start of the game. 1 nade, 1 molly. Outside here could be the deciding factor. Who comes up?
Ой, как Брекска ошибся.
Mika wants to come out to help, but maybe Halsey delayed enough. Halsey made it impossible for the rest to come through. Phosphate will be in the molly. Damage coming through. Nade from the other side.
Ой, Артикс. Все своровал.
Artix finds the double. Mika is still alive. Outside of placement points, though. And points given away to Exol, trying to make their way up. Currently sat in 5th.
That was ridiculous. They were so funneled up, and again, Exalt had the perfect position to read everything that was going on. Small thing that happened before that, example, lying down, seat swaps through a car to try and avoid more shots going his way. So just these small plays coming out from these players to keep themselves alive in the distance against those
Где-то я это видел уже.
SLRs.
Base. Decisions to be made now that the circle continues shifting north. They need somewhere to go. I don't think they have their cars available anymore, so as you can see here, one knock on Wu would be crucial. It could allow for a gateway to push further north. Issue is they haven't found that knock, so now they need to proceed on foot.
Fex has been shooting at everything.
Yep.
But as you say now, desperate times call for desperate measures. The big smoke wall is going to be created.
Как много смоков, хорошие смоки. 3 гранаты Коэма. Готовят. Рано кинули. Ой-ой-ой-ой-ой-ой, ферстика зашла хорошая. А Дози тоже загрела. Ой, и Джеймсу в рот просто. Бэм. Я дучу его ногу.
Exalt as well is trying to clean up a little bit this here. Some shots coming the way as now Gustav is a one-man army. What can he do against this here? Question mark is still wounded, but Gustav
Дается синьки.
there's no way he can recover from
Не-не-не.
He's gone.
Отдался Густав.
Unbelievable play if they were able to survive it, but it's not to be.
We're in placement points, and look at who's tanking. Mika is sat back there. There's 5 crates next to where he was.
А теперь Коэмам нужно двигаться, а тут Нави.
No matter how many first that you have, you ain't gonna have enough to continue healing yourself through it. So right now, he's going, please teams, just die. Keep on dying. I want more placement points. I'm not gonna get kills. I just want placement points.
Exalt's looking at this game as very tasty. They're constantly getting themselves kill points from this. Now Na'Vi turns their attention to Exalt here, trying to shut them down. They're in 5th place with 7 kills already in this game, thanks to the barrage that
Ой-ой-ой, экземпл, смачок нокнул.
He's continuing to do it. Guys, all right, cover, take cover. This is example now with a laser pointer.
Mika finds 2! Finds the first as well. He goes down, but so much damage done. Does Fate get back up alive? If Fate doesn't get rest, Mika just got an additional 6 points for the team by just staying alive.
That was a sick play, like just going for it here. And now Na'Vi wants to shut them completely down. If they do get shut down, they have the sack.
Бывает такое.
No, the teams still have to conflict in the north. This could be great for Na'Vi.
Rest does come up, so point taken away from the hands of Mika. Valiant effort though.
А Нави выиграли бы.
Melman wants to contain Exalt.
Ставочку, которую я ставил, стопудово. Или нет.
Decision to be made now. They know there's pressure above. The good thing for them is that they also are fighting above, so they need to take this fight, but you only have so much time.
Сейчас тут экземпл разрулит.
Really good job of recovering. So now finding themselves a move on forwards. For Melman, it's not really been his tournament, but the other boys will be able to do some damage themselves.
Ой, холостыми пострелял. А вот сейчас неплохо.
By example, the molly hits the other side of the rock.
А в ухо прилетит экземпл. И Рис дает 2 нока. Просто, ой. Экземпл, давай, машина, давай. Отрабатывай свой титул.
To Na'Vi, there's no way Example's going to be able to get both of them up. It's going to be a solo game, but if there's a solo that you want to rely on, it would be Example. 1 more molly left to work with, but no vest. 3 mollies now make it. As he has them, they all crawled over towards him and dropped their utility. That's what just happened.
Yeah.
From behind, here comes Perfectix, cleans it up.
Не дожили бы. Топ-5.
Foot esports on the north side able to see down. Exalt from down below can spot up. And in the midst of all of this, M-Force, solo player trying to stay alive.
Foot started this game with big kills and with going on against Ascend. And now, this is a brilliant opportunity for them to put even more points on the board. Coming in from that... another shot's coming in for Exalt here. This is very, very difficult for them to get out of. The fact that Perfectix is being able to not only use the ridge, but also the tree as double cover makes it so difficult for Exalt.
Foot has this one in the
боль.
3v1v1. There should be no way Perfectix gets that rest. The final one falls fairest. Again, knowing what teams he's
Ну и все. Шансов нету. Опять футболисты выиграют игру. Свою дивизию футболисты разошлись. В первой игре топ-2 много киллов, 18 поинтов. Ну, в первой игре, которую я смотрел, по-моему. Или я с концовки первой игры начал, я не помню. Концовку первой игры, да, я смотрел? Ну, там красочная была концовка, я прям как надо пришел. Я не наркоман, я осуждаю все наркотические средства, вот это вот. Я просто очень уставший. Да спать рубит. Я типа на режиме же. Вечером ложишься, с утра просыпаешься и что-то... Это уже сложно. Ну, они немножечко запрещенка, поэтому, ну, тут надо осуждать, понимаешь? Поэтому, ну, как говорится, главное, с кайфом сидишь. Почему они раньше начали, не знаю. Осуждаю запрещенку. Знаете, вам рекламу. Они время на час назад переводили в Европе. Уроды они. Заскамили, тупо заскамили.
Navi's still alive, right? They're around like green in the dip somewhere.
Navi 3, yeah.
Yeah, they're on the green map. Yep.
Under you in the stairs, I've dropped the DBS for later if you want to take it at some point.
Is there ammo on it?
Yeah.
Петра первого на них нет. Не. На них много кого нету.
Hitting shelter.
Oh, I got him. I'm holding it.
One cross from left, right. Another one tried.
Knock one.
Nice.
He's knocked right outside the door. He's not in yet.
I headshot one on the close roof.
Send us inside just now.
I'm only trying to watch DA. I don't think they can play up on that. There was a guy running on the ridge.
Чё? У нас до него вообще 5к был какой-то.
Yeah,
В смысле?
Small twisted running.
With only 3 Erangel games, Foot Esports came in and said, you know what, we got 3 more games, let's make something happen. Claimed a chicken dinner. Navi making a late push as well, not nearly enough. Twisted Minds in the mix as well. It feels like everyone suddenly woke up and said, oh, 3 games left in the grand finals, best we knock Howl out of that top spot, Saga.
It's definitely coming. Howl does not have long left at the top unless they can very quickly shape up. They still do have a very solid hope of taking away potentially the second PBS slot.
Ooh.
But, I mean, the way that Foot, once again, they bounced back from a actually depressing second game and came back with a bit of an interesting one. You know, there was definitely some targeting going on. We heard in the voice comms early on.
Yeah.
Oh, that's Ace. Killed him. Run them down. And that was definitely targeted. If you see a team that's dropping in Zaki, and you know that they are one of the PGS qualified contenders, and you're a team like Foot who wants that spot for themselves, 100% they're going to take that. But then they do get a little fortunate with the zone shifts after taking Stalba, which has been such a successful position for them so far. Love to see the zone going in that direction for them.
Happy with their performance, Avenger?
Yeah, for sure. Obviously, always hope for the.
Кстати, интересно, они на старом esports клиенте играют патчи? Или на новом? У них Хаук это имба еще, или это такой шлак?
Or you know that you're going to be the team getting out of there. Otherwise, it's only 1 or 0 teams that get out there alive, especially S9. It's so hard to get out of S9 and then get up on the hill and actually fight some. And Exalt did a really good job at getting as many points as they could, getting out there, gatekeeping a lot of teams coming out of those apartments.
Twisted Minds coming second.
Скоро это все изменится. Когда на старом турике гоняли. Я говорю, скоро все это изменится. Скоро сделают все настройки ранкеда будут в компетитив. Сразу все нововведения, которые будут в ранкеде, такие же будут в esports. Никаких отставаний патчей, ничего не будет. Все будет сразу в реальном времени меняться для всех сразу же. 107 поинтов у футболистов. Сколько? 6 ПТС разница до первого у футболистов. И 11 у немцев. И крепкая игра для Exalt, Face Clan. Отделяет их до финала. А у нас остается 3 Ирангеля. Или 2, я что-то не укопаю. Сейчас вот гейм 14 в 15. Я сижу, как будто это я 0.7 водки это, ну, внедрил, а не ты. Я не знаю. Это меня накрывает.
He did the best that he could, but it wasn't enough to stop Foot from taking over.
Top 50 on Twire, right, Saga?
Вон хоть могу это оценить, сколько поинтов осталось у кого.
And if it was only grand finals, you were done all right actually.
It was only grand finals.
You actually doing all right in grand finals, but yeah.
Navi let me down in the playoffs.
Yeah, true. I hope we see some James Nate God emotes out there being spammed. It's always a situation here. Like he's coming out and he just knows, okay, there's a potential knock flush here with a couple of nades, and he commits to it. And it's always good to see him follow through, get it, because it's super important for them, of course, to try to catch some of these top contenders here. How I want being
То, что я могу сделать, это рекламой накормить.
Trying to catch them down, but they are still have a good chunk of points there. It's going to be really hard to push them out of the top 2.
It is so exciting. I'm sure if you're a fan, you're feeling this as well.
Не, там твичевская, тебя она не коснется.
Twisted Minds came second, and you're looking at the leaderboard, and it's not enough. Navi's had a chicken dinner today, and it's still not enough. It is insane how close this is, how competitive this is getting.
Что за негатив? Что за негатив?
20 points away from FaZe Clan on 5th, and only 3 points away from BBL in 7th. You have to remember that, right? So it's still super close compared to how much of a bad day they had on the first. They had 3 points. They have come back really, really well here, and they're getting a lot more PGs.
Да не, на самом деле, она такая это... Баба с гнильцой, по-моему. Я из себя прям такая. Да. Я тоже так считаю. Что она противная. Видел Якубовича живот? Якубович? Да ладно. Вроде кажется, добряк. Редчайший добряк. Не? А чё у тебя такого? Как ты это определил?
GeoGuessr, we have fancy new programming in place that we can get this down to the meter. So you have 3 spots and you need to tell us where they are. This is the first spot on Erangel. Where is this on the map? Okay, time is up. Has everyone submitted?
Спикада, ну.
So So this was really interesting.
Ой, да ладно, это в жарких?
1.6 meters away, so you get a point. Are we ready to see the next location? Here it is. Tell us where this spot on the map is.
Это уж, это как у траншеи, Яма фейзов, это моя любимая яма. Траншея. Траншея. Да, я... Все это угадали. Яма фейзов, фейзам такое дали, ну.
Very close, between sort of 50, 45, 29 meters, but Corexi was the closest. So well
Или ты яму наизусть знаю тоже.
Final opportunity here in GeoGuessr. This is the final spot. Tell us
А
where
это где?
this spot is.
Где эта шахта?
Everyone happy?
Это, наверное, на острове, наверное.
Gustav, you were about... Gustav was 2000.
Я думаю, на острове где-то.
And James, you were about 5,900 meters
О,
away.
да ладно, это в Приздане.
3.1 meters away. You were that close.
Курекси такой задрот, что знает, где эта шахта. Ой, да ладно.
If you get this question correct, or if you're the closest to it, you are going to get 5 points. Which means, James, if you get this right, you will be able to leapfrog and potentially win this.
Okay.
This is how it works. You're going to submit your answers. The person closest to the correct answer will get those 5 points. How many folds does the parachute have? Okay, so now that we've ascertained that there are many, would you like to know who was the closest to the answer?
Cool.
Gustav, you are the closest. You said 12. The answer is 22. Gustav gets 5 points, which means Gustav wins the game show with no name.
That's crazy. Yeah, I saw him on his webcam.
Now we need to know, Gustav, would you like to know what you won? Well, you won absolutely nothing. So...
automatic.
Alright, I need to see a parachute right as soon as we get into the game. 22 folds! I'm surprised, I guess.
У нас в предыдущей игре джекоины были, сейчас один купон контрабанды. Я его даже трогать не буду. Этот код. Насрать на него.
They don't have that disclaimer at the beginning of the videos anymore.
That is also true.
Yeah.
That is also true.
The penultimate game on the way here for the Grassy Pastures, as Erangel is the flavor of the day. To round things out, it'll be game number 14. And as you can see at the very top of the leaderboards, Howl is anything but safe.
То самолет попер. Чем за фол?
I would say I'd still be somewhat worried, but now off of a 16th place 0-point game where they were rotating straight into their own death. For a team who has never really been this high up the leaderboard at these caliber tournaments before, the pressure has got to be on. Yeah. And on to an extent that I don't think any of these players has ever experienced before. Like, this is where players that lack the experience crumble, but also where players that get the experience come back the tournament after and prevail.
Let's see if they can do it, and let's see if we can see a parachute, actually. I'd love to see a parachute.
I mean, there's 64 of them, James.
Yeah, well, we'll have a look in a moment, I suppose, as we take a look at these drops overall. Foot going up all the way to Kameshki, so that will be the choice of the day for them, as they are very much because of how...
One thing that's incredibly terrifying, looking at the loot spots
Этот код на купон сами ведете. Я знаю, что этот код на купон будет, и я его даже трогать не буду. А то мне не везет.
5, 6, 7, 22. Yeah. They were right.
That was like that guy that can read books really fast.
Are you not counting? The servers are doing this for you, and we're going military, by the way.
Oh my, Yonti. I cannot... Okay, well, that is a circle to get things rolling for this game. We're actually going to military. Ascended not going to get to
it is going to infam, but it is going to infam.
Okay, well, if, you know...
The worst thing is right now, I mean, no, you know what, I'm going to take that back. If FaZe sits here in bridge camps, I mean, James put it pretty smart himself, then I'm going to tilt. I think if they sit there...
Ставки нет, кода нет, коммента нет, стримера нет. Зато есть реклама.
go right down there, and I do not fault him for doing it, because if he's probably thinking, you know, if Rex can get 11 kills from up there, I wonder how many I can get.
Yeah. I don't suppose he's working right with much.
Гузеева зато, да. Гузеева появляется 3-2 раз. Только для вас.
Эй, молодежь, плати картой мира и получай кэшбэк 10% за покупки шмоток, косметосика и подписок. Активирую акцию на приветмир.ру. И йоу, да ё-моё, ну акция же класс, а сценарий? Мыло поели?
The points required to win this. It is tough at the top to be able to keep yourself defended.
It's one of those where it's just 2 games, but it's also 2 games. That is
Я что-то орнул прямо.
Try and stay put through all of this, even more so now that you have to rotate this far south and backfill so many teams that know approximately where you are at the beginning of this game, and some of which.
Кстати, ее будут показывать еще до следующей пятницы.
Even third, fourth, fifth, if they start to have one good game here, they're also in reach of number 1. So there are so many threats at the door here for Howl that, I don't know, you're going to have to play a belter of 2 games here, despite being in first place.
Polish Power in the meantime thinking, you know what, if we just split as much as we can on Melee Island, then no one will get to cross. And as we can see here, it ain't quite working for them, because teams have indeed managed to cross. Ghost of teams, they're full speed sending it up the hillside. I don't think they were expecting a team to be up there. Nope, turning around. They wanted it. They wanted to get all the way up there. Again, they jumped out of the plane late, but BPL jumped out last. Because the plane went north to south, they knew, no one Novo, if we go there fast, we'll get it. And they got it.
I did think there was a world where... Well, I thought there was a world where FaZe was going to call their bluff there. Just one person shooting from that location. Sometimes you might try it, but it doesn't.
Не-не-не, это самый повод для рекламы. Ой, да ладно, Клибу подарок. Он вызвал airdrop, походу. Most kill. Молодость 25. Хорош. Вар 21. Эдди 21. Бими 21. Это показывает чисто уровень команды футболистов, когда все ровно убивают. Вот это действительно уровень. А молодость хорош. Это еще и АВП для него. Это еще и АВП. АВМ, ладно. Ты там на шаманском начал писать.
And it's so random. He has 30 bullets.
Okay, wait. Production, well played on bringing this graphic up.
Никто еще за весь турнир не побил рекорд Клиба. 955 метров килл.
He almost got that knock. It was from Potato Hill down to Pachinki Hill, southwest of the city. Took out 8C at almost a kilometer distance. This is a natural habitat for the Dane.
If you stop in there, why don't you just stop over by the beach?
Because then they don't beach the boat. And they have cover when they're trying to get out of the water.
I mean, just slightly
they have cover while they're getting out of the water, James.
They're okay now. Let's see. Because that is now all of
У меня лично был килл за 1100 метров. Лично у меня был такой килл. Я еще хайлайт тогда не писал. В том-то и дело, что я видел машину, которая уехала из Вижена, я стрельнул в ту сторону с болтовки с АВМ и попал ему в голову. Я даже не видел, куда я стрельнул, я просто стрельнул куда-то туда. Пристрелку 1000 поставил, и просто она залетела. Или 900 пристрелку я поставил. Короче, ну, у меня было такое. Мне написало что-то 1000 с чем-то, я не помню. 1050, 1080, что-то такое было примерно. Ну, это же за все время игры в эту игру. За все время, что я играю в эту игру. Во. У меня один такой килл был. Невероятный. Ну, это было в ранкеде, по-моему.
I mean, there's a lot of guns in that game, so yeah.
They got guns.
They got guns.
In that game, indeed. Now let's see, as the circle keeps on closing in. M4's, what we didn't see on the main feed before was that they were actually sailing across. But now they sat on the shoreline.
Нужен код в чат. Там не наберу. Там один купон будет, он мне не нужен.
And now have to come up with another rotation because the boat they were in before is down to, I think,
Тебе нужен?
very dark smoke in terms of its durability.
I'm gonna be real. I would be terrified as Howl right now, considering they have to cross this bridge.
Ну ладно.
Get over there.
Ну, купон-то в чат я сразу же могу это. Купон в чат я точно успею.
Towards this bridge.
And all the other teams, the thing is, this would not be that bad if they were the last team here. But they've just seen a team shoot
А я была лайку снял.
and can now hear the vehicles of another team driving up behind them. And as they come across, well, why not have Twisted Minds sit here too? It's as if this match has been storyline scripted to be the game for Howl. If they can make it, they've deserved every bit of it.
I like this move though. They're keeping their options open. You get
Ладно, накатаю. Может, купон?
You need to bail. You jump off the side onto the beach location. So at least you have like an exit strategy for that for Howl. As Twisted Minds hasn't really like taken any pot shots at them just yet. So Howl's playing it slow. But now, if Twisted Minds did start shooting at them, there is also the Woo coming in on the backside of this bridge too.
A lot of third-party engagements and one shot fired on the bridge. One shot
да?
on the bridge. BBL.
На пароме с машинами. Нормальный план.
So one thing's for sure. Howl ain't gonna have it easy regardless of how things happen here, because now they're further on the southern side, so even if that magical shift goes back north, all of a sudden it doesn't benefit them anymore either. What are you smiling about?
This setup makes me so happy.
Да.
It's not just, you know, that they've, you know,
It's really good. Да, им это не поможет совсем. А вот и кодик. Погнали. P6, DNT3, Q4, PHSV. Enter. На ауто. А у меня опять это. Перезапуск лобби нужен.
And it's working, dude. And it's working.
Ну, опять этот сраный купон.
I think how they've got to read this off the shots they're hearing too, that okay, Ascent is one of the teams that is behind us. Issue for Ascent is if they overcommit to this, foot is sat right behind them. Circle is Millie Island.
Ну, купон я вообще это изи забираю.
There are plenty of teams here. I wouldn't be surprised to see for the esports now go, you know what, Westbridge sounds pretty tempting.
Yeah, wouldn't be bad at all. It's very unlikely that there will be even a team holding that for the moment. And also, this makes it nice for everybody else that was around that radio tower location, because that's going to lose a lot of value, and BBL is already moving away from it. So no arm from the sky. Howl is running into Na'Vi. This is a disaster if they actually get a few knocks here, as we're watching this over at the bridge. But yeah, as I say, Howl might take casualties.
1, 2, running each other over, not really making things any better either.
Аля, двоих из Повля. И Руерна сразу же доедает из Кофилда сюда. Нави, давай, Нави, бля. Нави, 2 игры по 20 киллов. Изи топ-1. Вперед, Нави.
Look at his peaks and look at him making his way up in this direction. In the meantime, Polish Power wrapping their way down towards the south in towards DA territory as they try to get control of one of the hangars.
It's not easy to keep your cool when you're on the top of the mountain and all guns are trained on you here for Howl. As now, down to 2. They need to survive longer. So does Polish Power trying to escape from this position. And indeed they will over to the west of Sosnovka military base. And to be fair, because of how much is now on these runways, etc., a lot of teams can co-inhabit this area. But yeah, it's only circle 2, so we're a long way away from it even centering down here.
Howl losing too early, that could be very, very bad. But the issue for them is, well, the joy, I suppose, right now for them.
Нормально, медкит так. Профукал. Надо на паром, пацанам, на паром надо. It's уедет. Своих из Ховли нету. Это значит, что Ховли за эту игру, скорее всего, тоже мало наберут. Это будет интересненько. Надо эйсом садиться на паром, вот так вот проплывать, отсюда спрыгивать и отсюда начинать развитие событий своих. А, да? Джимс уже все патроны? А, нет, Джимс же это. Это у Клиба ВМ было. Я что-то думал у Джимса. Last матч Ховль Эйс ставку. Не. Смысла нету.
We'll see now if they can make a play of it. Not a whole lot of room to maneuver, and I think they know that if we want to make anything happen on this side of the circle, we gotta take the fight. Two Ding body shot connected.
Вот и топ-1 будут.
And the thing for Ding is they can't really overcommit to this either, because BBL
Или Эйс. Я вижу, как по игре Ховли, у Ховлев не идет.
Very well done by him. Sale in general, again, very impressive here throughout the tournament. Ding started off the tournament really well, actually, very high up, but now has fallen all the way down to 10th, so not many points on the board for them the past 2 days, but yeah. Sale still, again, making a name for himself.
Circle. Somewhat normal.
Не, первые 2 дня они играли прям здорово, прям жестко играли.
There's a burning boat. The ferry is far away. What are we doing? Oh wait, there's no one on the other side of the water, and here they come.
Морские котики поплыли.
There's no contesting. M4s do have their eyes looking towards the north, but shouldn't have any vision of what's going on down here. For the esports, they saw the cars leave. If they stop on the bridge for
Просто их со счетов нельзя списывать. Но пока они не набирают, набирают другие команды. И это очень печально для них. И очень интересно для нас, что это не в одну сторону турнир. То сейчас, условно, с топ-1 по топ-6 любая команда еще имеет возможность победить этот турнир. Даже потенциально с топ-7 по топ-10 теоретически могут дать супер классные последние 2 игры и набрать поинты. Ну, 2 игры по 30 или 30 плюс 20 это невероятно сложно сделать. Но это реально.
Exactly correct. So now, I mean, them and Ding have been kind of running shoulder to shoulder towards the circle for a while now. And finally, I think FaZe got to scare them off. They did lose James, though, in that engagement, but able to regroup soon.
Yeah, I understand completely as well why Ding is bailing from that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
If you win that fight, cool, you won the fight, but you're just slowing down an opportunity to get to a better spot for a circle that is not in your favor. So, as we do have Vard starting to blast against the Woo, but for Foot, this is really, really bad. The Woo is really hurting them right now. And if Foot goes down here, that could scarper a lot of their plans.
For sure, the 2-player alive Howl are clapping their hands, but Beamy ain't done just yet. Points at least being guaranteed to some extent as they find the first T-Bone. I don't think there's any world where he gets back up alive. No, he falls. Foot down to 2. Ascent was down to 2 early last game as well, but still managed to rack up points. We will see now what HC and Beamy can do. If you think back over the games during this grand finals, Foot, 2 players alive, they have pulled off magic.
Yes, they have, but definitely a chance of that constant back and forth, as you say, with Ascent.
Ой-ой-ой-ой-ой, эти попал. Что творит этот лев?
That's him gone. So any few points that Foot can get here,
Твою дивизию.
recovery game will be nice.
Он попал.
Even Beamy just moving on through here.
I think this is the Woo having to fall back. Clip now down the mountain he goes. We saw BBL getting shot at by both Woo and now Ding as well as they've upped its wrap north around the military base. Clip trying to find more, but again, that tree only granting him cover from so many angles. He has to get away from this position, but he cannot run anyway.
Так, Либушка, положи ВМ на место. Ну и белые. Нет, они закинули эту игру, им больше уже ничего не светит. Топ-16. Им ничего не светит. Итого у нас 9 конкурирующих команд остается.
look at who's right behind him. Face Fex has spotted them. He's looking in this direction.
Ну, с топ-6 по топ-10 еще могут. BBL уже не могут. Все.
How long though will that last is the big question. As now, actually, it's usually it does provide quite a bit of cover. You can kind of dance back and forth depending on who's got line of sight on you.
Yep. I have no eyes.
It's fine. One more left, Liam.
I'm getting really lit. I need to go heal in the tree.
Knock one thing.
Nice.
It's up the
I don't know.
Okay, very casual about that.
They don't know about me.
I'm going silent.
Ой, хорошо, Густав раздает.
I don't know. I don't think it's more.
Люки.
You see much matter left.
I feel like it's mandatory when you get a headshot with the bolt to go wow or something like this. Knocked, ding, yeah, knocked, full.
Yeah, I pop off fully, but then again, I don't hit them that much. So
maybe that's the case. They do it so often.
Самое интересное, и футболисты остались один. И у Ховли один в ноке, один живой. Нави пошли с деньгами лопаситься. Размены у них там лютые.
Just a meter short of potentially taking out Lasser. The gap was the right one, but the nade falls short.
They're so hurt. They're so hurt.
Yep.
And I think also mentally they might be hurt.
It's brutal.
Here.
It's brutal.
Trying to make the recovery here and then also then having to play out the next game and try and get yourself some big points on the board to ward off these teams that are barreling down on you. For Howl, it's going to be difficult.
And for Howl, at least, had it just been one or two of those one of those global partner teams that were up here, it wouldn't be so scary. But the top 4 are all qualifier teams. So if you fall down to 3rd, you're down and out.
Yeah, terrifying. Really terrifying considering how good your day number 1 was. But anyway, anything can still happen. And Hobbits is making it happen here against Polish Power.
Exactly, да, согласен.
And Alia gone. If Beamy gets another...
Все, Бими кончился.
Okay.
Наказан.
Howl laughing, maybe not so much, but at least trying to smile, clap their hands a little bit. One of the contestants out early in this one. 3 points obtained, 3-point lead for Howl, but no points accumulated yet for Howl.
Алю потеряли, жалко.
Alia goes down to blue. That was... well...
I mean, he was down to very low HP and it's phase 5, so can't really fault him too much. Docks up, that nade should find at least one. Nope, not gonna matter because Example went down to blue instead. So now we having a hard time getting on in. In the meantime, as this fight is happening on the east, out towards the west, Ascent has managed to spread out very nicely, but the circle is taking us further and further inside the military base proper.
Emlo looking for an opportunity. Navi is gone here as
Navi is gone.
One indeed on Uber. So that's nice for him as now Ascend a little bit
За Имлула могут не знать, кстати.
If they can get in there and find themselves a little bit of a foothold, that'd be fantastic. Sarvam is trying to hold off against all of that. Twisted Mind is trying to make this transition alongside, and this could be to the detriment of Howl. They're so close to them right now.
Yep. In the meantime, Ascend has pulled up on the C block towards the west. Braxco is there all on his own, but as Twisted Mind knew, the reason that they were spreading out...
Наверное, даже можно на 3 команды поставить. Сделать ставку. На Ховль, на футболистов и на немцев. На Asian. И будет прикольно, если никто из них не выиграет.
As now Ascend is moving into C block, as you say, trying to control a little bit more of it. Sarvam kind of split to a degree. Got to be careful of your own teammates' nade. As now a move forwards here after that communication. We'll allow him to look around the corner. Here goes for a big spray. He gets 2. Is he going to get him on that? He's on the left-hand side of that building. That's huge for Brexco.
Absolutely crucial. The man to make the difference in the moments of need.
Didn't flinch on that molly, by the way. That was balls of steel.
I'll take you down even if I'm on fire. Chris now realizing, well, the fight has gone inside the building. I guess I should be down there helping them out.
Ой, господи, Аймлоу тут закошмарил. Пул состав. Почти всех. Кто молодости в тиме, я даже не помню. Перист у них там, Артикс, Фейт и сам молодость. И они сейчас находятся на самом деле не так плохо по отношению к Белому Безопасному.
not going to be recovering CC and X by the looks of things, and FaZe is over the way as well.
This is not good for FaZe. It's so close. Gustav should fall on the stairs here. Yep, Nate is going to take him out. Spear and Peak finds one. One more Nate to follow. Nope, didn't cook it, didn't throw it either, but they will hear the footsteps inside.
And even just the footsteps alone were enough for him to go for the pre-shots. There's two, does not get the third though. Fex comes in. It's going to be up to Global Army to try and fire down this hallway and make something happen. Oh, that banister.
Молотов, есть Молотов.
Connect some of those shots that threw it. Molly, does it do anything?
He ran down with him. Fex carried him downstairs. He heard him.
Very well done.
He heard him pull out, throw it forward. Able to get out. Flashbang follows as well, so he can't make the play himself. FaZe will get back up to 2 alive.
Observer, I thought there was
Продолжить ждал.
in the door there.
Ну на этом турнире у них не пошло просто. Тут не то, что он сдал, как у них не пошло просто. И прокнул на Exalt. Ой, Global Army тут. Забыли про него. Курекс исправил ситуацию.
Digital Athletics is gone as well. That allows Question Mark to have a little bit of a jump up. Ascend is moving though. They know now that Fex is wounded alongside his teammate. And this is going to be up to Ascend. Clear this out and then start turning your attention south of military base.
Ой, там Twisted Minds еще подходит.
Ascend currently fighting against 2 global partner teams. Get out of here, get out of here. You don't have as much to lose as we do. We do not want to have to fight you right now. Good thing for Ascend is so they have the numbers, and this could not be any better as Twisted Minds and FaZe take the fight to one another. FaZe falls, Brexco finds one of them as well. Crucial, but they need to follow. Twisted Minds, collateral damage, and the ones on the receiving end of all.
Один на ногах. Файра на ногах. И его вайпнули. И это еще 2 поинта дает из клану. Ой, господи, какая игра. Exalt еще могут выиграть и вырваться на топ-2, топ-1 прямо сейчас. Exalt могут.
Because everybody else is going to be in close conflict with one another. It will be Polish Power going up against Question Mark. They're gone. And at the other side of this, Exalt and Full Tilt are going to be prioritizing.
Ну, Full Tilt там тут уже ничего не поможет, только лишь, ну, не закончить на 16 месте, престижные поинты забирать. Эйсы вчетвером живые. Эйсы хорошо стоят по итогу. Блин, надо за Exalt подтопить, чтобы они подтянулись к топу.
Coming down to the final game now, where have we seen this before? Ascent did it in the qualifiers. They were barely even supposed to be here to begin with, but they brought their way into the grand finals. And oh my God, are they putting up a show? They're in, they have the garage in front to play, they have the fence lines to play. For the most part now, it's going to be question mark, where do you look? Where does your attention go? Because Exalt, Full Tilt, they have to be occupied with one another. And Aimlol, well, he's going to be chilling.
That's the thing. Aside from Full Tilt, I think every other team doesn't know Aimlol's there. I think Full Tilt was taking a little bit of an engagement against them, so they're probably pretty.
Exalt так и прокают. Они втроем. Full Tilt тоже втроем. Дингов один, а Aimlol выживает.
It's a little bit of a hop, skip, and a jump for Aimlol across to where he would need to be to make that backstab.
Если Aimlol выиграет эту катку, то потенциально он создаст еще больше интриги в последней игре.
Again, I mean, for Ascent 2, even though beating Howl would be amazing, technically as it sits right now, they're through to PGS as well. Top 2 is quote-unquote all they need, but would they want to be in first place instead of second? Hell yes. And it's a tie with Foot Esports as well.
Whilst we're at this stalemate, I'll ask you a very serious question.
Go for it.
If Ascent does win this tournament,
не помнишь, бывает.
Ever hear the end of it from
напряжение, полное напряжение происходит.
same page. We're on the same page.
But if they win this tournament, I don't feel like we deserve to hear the end of it anyway.
Yeah, it's pretty.
Если лул топ-1, я тебе сотку доначу. Да не, я тоже не верю в это. Ну я типа... Единственное, что... Я в это не верю. Не верю, не верю. Я в это тоже не верю. Я говорю, типа, если он это сделает, это нереальная интрига будет, потому что они тоже будут бороться за топ-1 турнира, и это очень круто. Ну, то, что он возьмет топ-1, сольник, такое бывало, но я не верю тоже. То есть ты топ... Не, ну за сотку надо болеть за Аймлула. У него жизни там почти нету. Им надо аккуратненькой ниндзя быть. Ну, перед ним такая команда, которую он может развалить, кстати, в одну ряху. Потому что М-Форс он развалил. Ну, да, Экзальт это хорошо, если выиграть.
Even after this, yes, okay, still PGC points on the line. But
18 points for question mark is 12th to 7th coming into the final game.
Yeah, that'd be big.
That would be massive. There's a bit of a drop off from 5th and down, but
ой, нет, Аймлула спотнули. Аймлул нокнул. Ну не, у него шансов нет. Слишком много дэмэджа сейчас получила.
Again, trying to rack up points for Ding as well. 7th place right now. They are just behind, I say 6 points down from Twisted Minds. They know that this is not a one tournament and done. It's a racking up points. It's a circuit. Get points along the year. Make your way to PGC at the end of it.
The only unfortunate thing for Emil always is, yes, a smoke is nice for a moment.
Ну он еще может поживет немного.
As a Brexco is going for the push. Molly is nades are coming out here from question mark to try and slow this down. Wait, where is his gun?
Brexco, where's your weapon?
What happened?
There's got to be a bug. There's no ace running around without a weapon.
Yeah,
he even had a gun on his back.
Okay, well anyway, let's ignore that for the moment here. As now, Micah as well moving around here, trying to kind of clear out these areas. They're coming in front of question mark.
Он эйс может подруинить. Или нокдаст. Ну, посмотрим. Поэмы у нас тем временем посыпались. Иксдальт у нас... Так, у эйсов у нас 7 киллов. У Иксдальта тоже есть киллы. Ситуация плохая. У кого? У Аймлула все плохо на самом деле.
We now have that center of the circle narrowed down. It's just outside the building in the middle there. So Exalt's looking okay, but this could go anyway.
Немцы возьмут, ну ты за Экзальт? Да я тоже за Экзальт. Я поддерживаю.
And here they sit in one of the most important endgame fights of their careers so far.
I love these little angles.
Ведь Крис просто помнит, ползал стольник с той стороны. И вот он по этому Аймлулу уже накидывает. Сложно Аймлулу. Вот если бы он нокнул, ему было бы полегче. Ой-ой-ой, как это было близко, Аймлул умер. Но не было у него такого шанса, как казалось. А вот Фейт сейчас закидывает. Немцы хорошо играют, да, согласен. Они могут показывать невероятный перформанс. Все, сольник убили, они это знают. Сейчас будут, возможно, шире играть.
There's going to be smokes deployed absolutely everywhere. Exactly like this. Ascend, smoke them all, force them out towards you, force them into the open. It doesn't matter that you cannot see them. As long as they can't see you as you're repositioning, that is going to be potentially a winning possession. And now the plays are being made by all three teams.
Both of the other teams as well, Exalt as well as Full,
Какие-то в ноке.
But Brexico has moved onto this right-hand side alongside its Chris. Just make sure you don't hit each other. Madsy's gone back up to the high ground. Again, that Joker card could quite easily come into play here as we move forward.
Ты в конце прям чудо. Да, да, их сейчас убьют, не переживай. Они слабенько играют. Сейчас увидит кого-нибудь по-любому.
I love what they've done here with Brexico moving over to this position. It gives them more angles to work with. He's catching the blue a little bit. He has a few cards to work with, but the high ground
Ой-ой, Мэдзи Руинер. На, у тебя бутылкой в рот. Все, 3 в 2. Экзальты могут выиграть. У немцев 10 киллов. Артик снокает Брекско. Последний Майка на ногах. И это победа за Экзальт. Должна быть, должна быть. Не ошибиться. Да, отлично, найс. Топ-1 6 киллов. Пофигу, что 6 киллов. Главное, не топ-1 взяли. 16 ПТС. 16 ПТС. Сюда. Хорош, хорош. Все, пора Гузееву смотреть. Да, но мы за кого болели и победили, и это классно.
Ascend getting great off angles and trying to make it work for themselves. That was nutty.
That was insane. The fact that Ascend gets to live with the scare off of
This is Sparta!
Claim the win here. I understand the cluster and the confusion. You go out there, Molly, oh no, you go out, you see the back of someone alive, and the circle is approximately this big. They don't win the game, but oh my god, did they rack up a lot of points.
Все, ребята, мы дождались тот самый момент, где будет самая интересная карта. Она будет прямо здесь и сейчас. Мы ее дождались. Это самый сок. Давай, став. Может, что-нибудь поставит. Так. Ставка. Кто выиграет турнир? Так, кто у нас там? Коваль. Эйс. Кто у нас там еще? Футболисты вроде. И Экзальт. Ставка будет идти 10 минут. Что у нас еще там есть? Коваль, футболисты. Эйс, Экзальт. Давай еще Фейс Клан впишем. Фейс Клан. Типа Фейс Клан могут. По идее, Батут может выиграть. Давай, ладно, и Батут. Кто-то может в душе Батут будет. Twisted Minds.
Drive down the road and go to blue.
Yeah, I'm gonna knock him.
Так, все. Конкретная ставка на кто выиграет турнир. Ставка 10 минут.
Nice try, bro.
It's really hard to peek though.
Yeah, it's whole inside and at the east.
Okay. Ace has full like green.
На кого хотите ставьте? Вариантов 6. 6 вариантов, которые вполне могут выиграть. У Twisted Minds просто их меньше выиграть. Большая вероятность выиграет, конечно, первый топ-3, но также могут Exalt и Face Clan, которым тоже полегче. 20 плюс ПТС сделать эти команды могут. Вот. Плюс Twisted Minds могут тоже дать и 20, и 25 киллов и выиграть игру. Поэтому на эйсов поставили. Интересно. Ну да, маловероятно. Это же все, типа кто-то может душой и сердцем будет ставить.
Full tilt that kind of destroyed their chances. Having that high ground, it basically made it full tilt and exalt.
Не было, но в последней игре турнира всегда может быть такая игра. Ну и Батут вообще может такие игры исполнять. Но вот этот Молотов, это было нечто, конечно.
And then there's just the smokes. We have X-ray on here, and it's just so hard to see. The smokes are much thicker than we see in these cases here. So Exalt popping in, and they're putting themselves into this basket we have of potential winners. They're something like 8 points away from the first spot. So Exalt is also now.
Так, надо лобби перезагружать. Тот же коинов я хочу получить.
That is what has happened. These teams are all so hungry to take that final top spot.
We are fully cooking. We've basted it up big time, but it's another one that when we get to this point and you see a military circle, you're kind of expecting a level of chaos, but this was relatively controlled from a lot of the teams. And again, Exalt, or rather Ascend, playing slow, coming in late, swimming across the river because they had no other options. The fact that they even make it this far is extremely impressive, in stark contrast to Exalt, who sent it over the west bridge immediately and held a southern position for so long. And you can see the results coming out neck and neck. Just makes it so much more exciting for the final game.
Those double-digit kills for Ascend are going to make all the difference as we move on to the current leaderboard. Remember, one more game to go, and right now Ascend has been able to knock Hal out of that top spot by 5 points. But look at Foot Esports as well, 2 points away. Look at Exalt. This is going to come right. I'm just so excited. This is insane. It's open season.
And all the global teams, global partner teams, FaZe Clan, Twisted Minds, and Na'Vi, now also in the top 8. Look how close they are too. We have literally only 8 points from Na'Vi up to Twisted Minds, considering how bad of a Na'Vi day they had in day 1. Insane, but our top, it is just extremely close. Even FaZe Clan with a fantastic game could really wreck up the top. Obviously it doesn't matter with PGS, but still PGC points is going to matter huge, and it's also going to matter in the prize pool.
I think the point share is that there is absolutely there is no way to dictate who's going to win this because it is so incredibly open. Normally we've got 2 or 3 teams. In this case, most of the teams on the left side of the leaderboard have the potential, if they pop off, to take it. 1 game left. Is it going to be extremely aggressive from the get-go, or do you think a lot of these teams are going to be very aware of the fact that they need to stay alive till the end game?
I would hope it's not extremely aggressive, because that can really backfire on a lot of the teams, and you would hate to make a decision that really kills your chances of getting to PGS, particularly looking at the fact that the top 4, none of them have the partnership, none of them have the direct invite, so there's 4 teams who are not guaranteed whatsoever. So making a misplay here would be absolutely heartbreaking. So I just want to see everyone play to the best of their ability. We want to see Foot come out looking strong. We want to see Ascend making it to the late game, playing their own slow style. We want to see the best of all 4.
Do you think, though, obviously the teams on the one side of the leaderboard are going to play it safe. They don't want to be too aggressive. They don't want to go out early. The teams on the other side, though, are going, actually, you know what? We need some kills. We need points. Kills are going to get us points. So hell, we'll just go for it. This could be a real shake-up. You're going to be trying to avoid the bottom of the bracket
that's exactly
to
the
stay
case.
alive.
That's exactly the case. It's going to be like that. We're going to see a lot of teams that are going to be playing slow, passive on the edge, and we're going to see a lot of the other teams that are fighting to get as many kills, as many points as possible, because that could move them up, 2, 3, 4 spots. So that's definitely going to happen. We're going to see Howl play slow. We see that has been their day 3 game plan. They have been in a good spot, and right now they are still that second place team. They're going to need a little bit of points, but I'm expecting Foot to come out strong. I'm expecting them to come out aggressive, looking for kills, setting up smart moves, like we saw on Ascend, like we saw on this. Ascend, though, on the other hand, they just need to keep doing what they've been doing because it's been quite successful so far throughout the tournament.
One thing really for Howl to keep in mind is while their playstyle has been relatively slow, it has resulted in a lot of 0-point games today. But the one relief that they have is they're not the top target in the lobby anymore. That title has been given over to Ascend. It's not one they particularly want, but just by merit of getting such a good positioning in the final game, they've put that right on their heads, and there's some scary teams looking to chase them down.
So many scary teams and so much incredible action on the way. We have played 14 games, and it is coming down to this final Erangel match. This is it. At the end of this, we will be able to crown a champion. If you are not hyped about what is about to go down, then you clearly haven't been watching. I've been saying that the whole weekend it has been the best region in the world, and no doubt based on what we've just seen, that is so true, and we're about to see it finally again. It's going to happen because this game is going to be hot. I think we've done enough talking and hyping this up on the desk. Let's get straight into it with Kylaris and Toby.
That's right, the final game of the Grand Finals, and for a moment like this, this is, when it comes to the veterans, Foot's and Ascend's wheelhouse. For the other 2 challengers in Exalt and Howl, it's kind of anything but. We will see if those strong contenders can still assert some dominance at the top of the leaderboards, but in my mind, I'm thinking Ascend and Foot are going to put the foot down.
Coming into today, we were looking at Howl and potentially 1 contender to shake things up. Now it's a 4-horse race, maybe even 5 if FaZe pulls off a FaZe Sunday type of superior game here in the final.
Imagine.
Just like, it's a low double-digit win here, you're 120 plus.
And you point out something very important to me whilst we were talking about this. Howl has been in first place since game number 1, and now this is the first time they are not.
Yep, it does not get any more terrifying, but look behind us, the plane is in the sky.
Все, пошла жара в хату.
Is starting. Foot Esports instantly out of the plane on their way north, and look at who is flying next to them. I'm not saying that because I think there's gonna be fighting happening in the early game because of it, but we have our eyes not on 1, not on 2, but on 4, potentially 5 teams that can run away with the win here.
Howl dodging any craziness that may occur. And with this as well, if you look at how things have gone down for them, if Howl does not go to PGS, after days 1 performance, after being in first place for 14 or 15 games, I do feel like that's a bit of a disaster for them.
They were up 30 points to second place.
За футов.
All they have to do is get top 2, and now there's no way of guaranteeing that either.
So let's see.
Ну, все может быть. Как бы нету гарантированной ставки.
In the PUBG EMEA Championship, and
who gets it?
Give me that circle.
Who gets it? They're so far split all the teams in contest for this one right now. We have 3 of them towards the western side, and we're going center again.
Это круг.
Vanilla as can be. And I say that, but there's a bit of spice to it because there's
Достаточно интересно. Он может как наверх прокнуть, так и на низ. Мне почему-то кажется, он будет прокать опять на школу, на кем Батута. На этот так называемый писюн. BBL уже заняли. Очень нагло. Кодик в чат, да, надо будет кодик в чат бабахнуть. Так, надо не просрать его, так сказать.
I did expect maybe a little bit more oomph from them in this finals, but it wasn't to be.
And while it's not, again, I mean, I kind of alluded to it in the last game, but I'll bring it up here again before our attention goes solely to the top of the leaderboard. While we are going to, of course, for good reason, focus on the top of the leaderboard for all these teams, regardless of whether you're 16th or 1st right now, placement points and everything else matters in the final game. Even if you don't win it, there are so many PGC points on the line. With just 3 events to rack up those points across the year, you want to finish as high as you can in this tournament, even if it's not winning.
Yeah, definitely. A great example, of course, could indeed be Question Mark, who, in terms of 2022, yes, did secure the seed directly through to PGC with a first place, but imagine it wasn't direct. Imagine if it was 1,000 points for first place, for example, or something like that. The funny thing about that is, when we were calculating it, even if it was 1,000 points, they would have still been behind Twisted Minds, but they did get the first seed, so it all worked out a little bit wonky, but regardless. So ultimately, getting as high as you can in these tournaments, getting as many points on the board, will matter, because even in those last tournaments, if you've just got that little extra, that could be the difference between you and
Так, надо
team.
посмотреть игру. Игра вроде нормально все. Тот же коин, надо. Наши, в принципе, лучше среднего играют. Ну, наша это question mark, the Wu, Нави, деньги, экзальты. Погоди, всех я назвал. Question mark, the Wu, Нави, Динг, Twist Minds и экзальты. Да, в принципе, да. Сейчас середина турнирной таблицы нашими ребятами заполнена.
Already moving on up here at about the 4-minute mark, trying to find themselves a little bit of a linchpin point in the middle of these circles. The other two of James.
Так что да, в целом согласен.
With them. For DA, all I want to see is them not drive past Twisted Minds and lose one early.
that would be a great end to it, right?
Yeah.
Let's just try it one last time. Maybe it's gonna work that. Nope, it didn't work. No, 3 points again. Okay, well, I guess we'll have that with us for PEC fall. Lesson learned, hopefully.
Hopefully.
Sometimes it does take a couple of tournaments for teams to learn lessons. But then we'll see if that's going to be the case here or not. It's starting out quiet. I'm looking at how they're driving straight through the full tilt split. Full tilt is still busy looting, but if one gets caught, I'm already now seeing shots being fired on the minimap down towards Gatka. If one falls here, that could be the team falling apart more than it has already been over the last 2 games.
You need all your cards in place to keep that house of cards upright. And it looks like they've been able to get past full tilt okay on those Gatka fields. Whilst we take a look at other teams. But if you've got the map open as well, guys, follow with us. Very, very useful to have indeed.
We'll focus on a lot of things that don't necessarily happen on the main feed right now, because there's simply too many teams with too much on the line here that there's too much going on that we can show it all at once. But it's the amount of storylines, the amount of career-defining games that you're going to be writing home about for the next 10 years for so many different players here. This could be, and probably already is, the most important game a lot of these players have ever played, and maybe ever will play too.
Yeah, PGSs are going to be the biggest international lands alongside, of course, PNC and PGC here in 2023. So qualifying it in top 2 would be lovely, lovely stuff, especially since those partnered teams are not in the mix up at the top, aside from, FaZe with a long shot of a big win here.
There's a weird world where some of these teams want FaZe to get up there, just so that top 3 qualifies and not just top 2. But then again, would you really want to have FaZe close in terms of leaderboards? Maybe not. Just get top 2 instead, forehead.
Yeah, I think ultimately...
Да. Здесь сидим, ждем кодик.
They do end in top 3. Like, you just want to steer clear, really, of them. And we will have Howl finding themselves what I consider to be not exactly a great spot to start out these circles. So Howl's looking for the defensive plays, and Baron Peak does what he does.
I mean, we have seen circles go in these directions more often.
Да, у меня такой сегодня вылетает. Нормально. Я уже немножечко привык.
Early potentially third-party opportunities where you don't risk too much yourself. Ain't the exact primary real estate. One interesting thing is, though, we have our top 4 teams kind of split across the map right now, with Ascent rotating north of Yasnaya. Foot Esports set up towards shooting range, and then Howl and Exalt down in the Ruins Pachinki area. So, just let me hit something, goddammit! The only area we wouldn't want to see this one go is southeast.
Да, у меня такая же фигня.
For the top, as I say, that actually FaZe are down there. So So I suppose that wouldn't be the worst thing either.
He knows exactly where that throw ball just came from. So if he actually reads where that was, but the underhand doesn't go
Экзальты, тем не менее, на 8 ПТС отстают от немцев. На 8, Карл. Очень сочно.
Shots taken up the hill. They don't want to have a third team engage on this global army. Is he stopping his car? Is it just turning? No, he jumped out. You see it in the minimap on the bottom hand side. Yeah, but Navi would not want this to be happening right now, because all they have to cover is
Давайте код уже жадины. На 1000 джекоинов нужен код.
Foot, Howl, Ascend, all very far away from each other right now. As this mini Pachinki fight continues on, Full Tilt is kind of close. As they're kind of positioning themselves ready for a move if needs be, which is fine in my books.
One thing that does favor Ascend in a circle like this is A, they get a chance to pull in from the side. B, they get to play pretty much just Ascend PUBG, because they never risk things early if they can avoid it. I mean, yes, they do get run into by Foot Esports on a rotation down towards melee, but more often than not, they will not be the first team to fall because they play rather safe early. Look at the split they have to the east. Braxco currently scouting. Aimlol is in Hall of Fame or Museum just below him, so it could potentially be the downfall of a player early on. But Chris and Kiliakai are sat north of Snai, and shots are actually being fired now from Aimlol. Not seeing a knock just yet, though. Aimlol jumping into the car, a sign that Brax gets the lift with the scare. But
yeah,
it's getting dicey.
Aside from a few of those shots, I feel like this 2-2 is just safe. Like, unless you're going way too close.
So much control.
Yeah.
So much control.
Safe and allowing the pivot, as you were mentioning. So, Foot taking a few shots over at Full Tilt, who are rotating over the north of them. I guess they assimilated enough information that there was potential threats on the other side towards Atlantis and Rozok here to just look for an alternate route. But the problem for them is that I don't know if there's many good alternate routes this late in a circle like this, when teams are pitching up along that river to also have that same potential that they're looking for.
I just like that they're keeping Soapy down towards the southern side.
Блин, я очень... Опа, кодик пошел.
See, we're headed towards the southern side. There's still a really brutal scenario that we hop up to BBL with the next shift.
Кодик кинул.
Now that would be
Код успешно активирован на 100 джекоинов. Yeah.
I think that a lot of them are just going to commit to the south now, and BBL will probably just rocket towards Garden unless DA gets there first. It really does depend. Although they actually are going over the bridge towards Garage, so that'll be fine for now. As we have Sarvam here trying to take out Twisted Minds on the move away over towards apartments, and actually manages to finish off Lou here. Does Global Army. And now
я обычно опаздываю. Пошел открывать контрабанд. Здесь ящик. Давай. Успехов тебе. Сейчас выпадет аук.
This may be the lowest finish they've had in the region in like 3 years or something like that. Which, okay, 6th at the moment, but still, it is something to take note of for a team that is aspiring to become world champions one day and has been close to.
Question mark in the nearby vicinity of this fight going on right now. Shots have been fired. Fate are pushing down on Foot as well. The first peak comes through, but
открыл на дымы раз 7-8 примерно не выпало. Бывает.
They are in the area. That's why smokes are being deployed, because shots are being fired from the woods above.
And we're finishing ribbons, getting rid of him. M-Force just being absolutely peppered. You can hear every shot go into the wall, into the ground.
Again, I mean, we talked about a double-digit game and a win. FaZe knows they need to go big if they want to bring this one home. That's why you see them on the hunt, whereas some of these other top forward teams are playing it much more careful, much more cautious. But FaZe, they're out hunting.
James, early mutant enjoyer? Question mark.
I was gonna say he's setting up the meta, you know, just warming up for the season.
Так, фавориты у нас только Twisted Minds. Уже все канали в лето почти.
Yeah, we'll see. FaZe split a little bit thin, not really though. Vex, the south side player, trying to make sure that no one's wrapping in from behind. Exalt are coming in from the west. Molotov is scouting down towards this exact
Рискует, потому что здесь каждая ошибка равна турниру целому.
sending the nades in. They know that there's really only one left of Twisted Minds as well. So if they were to push hard on this as multiple members, they will probably just get a trade. Any double peaks that they go for here would be...
Что самое интересное, что топ-1 и топ-2 проходят на глобал, поэтому максимальная борьба идет за эти два слота. Twisted Minds и Na'Vi по-любому получают этот. Они эти партнеры, партнеры, они по-любому едут на глобал.
At present, they know are actually split quite widely across school as well as apartments with that 2-2. Veronica, though, is going to fall here quite quickly. He was blind for the moment, actually, but never mind. Veronica...
Ой-ой-ой, Вероника мог забожить.
Gustavus in a car, and he's going full speed forward. Circle shifts west, though. If Howell could ask for a shift, sitting in Rostock,
Деньги-то 4 ПТС уже сделали.
with this one, no doubt about it. Issue is, I think they read it as well. The next one is probably looking to go over towards Polish Power and DA. And look at how everyone is now migrating towards the center of this circle.
FaZe driving past Na'Vi. Maybe some shots will connect here, but uncharacteristically, Na'Vi's not hitting many of these sprays. FaZe is still kind of pitched up against this global army, though. Sarvum's still here. Na'Vi didn't get time to actually clear them out. And actually, this is causing FaZe huge damage.
FaZe клан на руину приехали.
And he does get global army, but the members from Sarvum are so far away to recover from this.
So much damage done. If he can get both of them back up alive, that would be absolutely insane. But Na'Vi, you can see them now with the X-ray on. They're running for it. They know that there are kills to be found.
Nice
Rose the Molly wants to isolate it. Hits Uber right on his feet. Has to
Один Джемс на ногах. Ой, как неудобно.
Quick reactions by James, straight to the room, straight to the heel.
Валидол пошел.
Realizing there's too many threats coming through that door. Try and get yourself an off angle. Goes for the flash. Try and slow them down.
Carry him upstairs. Carry him upstairs. Carry him upstairs. He knows that Gustav is up there too. Great play.
Нашел одного алкаша. Будет разрезываться. Приветик, приветик, Юленька.
During all the commotion,
Как
I
ты?
feel like Na'Vi was able to get enough audio cues to be able to realize that this relocate has properly happened. And now James here. Oh my!
Поляки вайпнули BBL. Ну все, BBL гарантом. Ну и поляки, в принципе, им тоже ничего не светит. Просто отыгрывают. То есть мощей, так сказать.
Still now, I just still now actually sat in 8th place, looking to finish up much higher on the leaderboard.
Not the best of outcomes for Na'Vi, considering they're so close to them in the leaderboards as well. As now, Na'Vi's still looking for a lot more. Pre-smoking to cause some distraction, get out of here. But Na'Vi's actually retreated from this building.
They get 3 as well. They get both of them back on their feet. Crucial for FaZe Clan. They might just be inside the next circle here too, but Na'Vi, I think they're calling it quits on that push.
Yeah.
They came
3 в 1 не запушили. Ну, может, гол капитана. Ой, фуллы-то как сидят. Прикинь, сейчас наверх прокнут. Да ну никто не верит. И команда понимает, что верха не будет. Но так ли это? Сейчас мы это увидим. Бум, да. Все верно. ПМ крашит PUBG, как я понимаю. Да. Пошла жара в хату. Первый, второй. Коэма просто заканчивает этот турнир. Ну, им ничего не светило, поэтому они забили, так сказать, на этот турнир. Все. Не пошло. А вот экзальты хорошо пробираются для этого круга-то.
I guess the rent price is falling for apartments because everybody's rocking up and wants a piece of the pie right now. Exalt finding the
Бесклан, тем не менее, сейчас... А чё у них опять Ноки кто-то? Чё у них за алкаш в Ноки постоянно сидит? Хорошая. Ну, сейчас ДВ, погнали. Экзальтам надо помочь, надо конкурента одного поднабрить.
Get back to the safety of Chris. It looks like Brexco is forfeit here by Ascend. It's a mature decision, considering what's about to potentially hit this location.
Play the long run, play the long game.
Да, они понимали тоже все, что происходит у них, они все это понимали. Ну, да, это правильно. Ты играешь за титул ты должен. Это что за ЛГ такие царские? Господи, турки. Вот турки умеют удивлять, конечно.
This to me, we talked about the pressure. Can they handle it? This to me is Howl faltering under pressure.
A Shaq play like this might
С горячей попкой к Норкикс выбежал. Горячий пердачок. I'm loving it.
Yep, sure is. And here we have them Ascend trying to set strong, just going, please, Foot, please, Woo, just fight. Let us stay out of this. We don't want piece of its Howl. In the meantime, loses two T-bone one. Woo.
А где футы? Футы подъехали. Они начинают доминацию. Ховли 2 в ноке, кстати говоря. Экземпл добирает The Mada. И Сисинекс добирает Лахзу. Футболисты погнали. Последний нигде остался. И его добирает. Опачки. Футболисты уже на 4 ПТСика отстают от эйсов. Погоди, они сейчас на эйсов пойдут. Но эйсы тоже, ребята, непростые.
Your heartbeat is going to start racing here as we have ourselves a bad situation for Foot, who are trying to catch up with Ascend.
It's first and second fighting in a fight I don't think either of these two teams really want to be in. Howl, only 2 players up, but 2 points out of top 2 as well. Beamy spots one, rest comes through, back to 4, 14 seconds to go until the circle starts closing in, but
Тем не менее, у Экзальтов ног разрезались они. Деньги там куда-то проезжают. Напряжение максимального уровня происходит прямо сейчас. У футов дело-то дрянь, их зоны накрывает. Вот это сейчас заканчивается. 3 в ноги, все. И если фармят на них еще и подпоинты. Все, капец. Да. И сами они. Сейчас, похоже, от синьки будут. Да, Вард еще одного выбил.
Be able to stay in the race. Foot Esports fall. Howl 2 points out. Exalt 5 points out. They need to get points. Howl, it's unlikely for them to get another 2 potentially, but for Exalt. Unless
И ДАшки сидят просто и ждут. А Ховли-то у нас... Ага, в будке. Кто еще у нас? Экзальты могут выиграть. Ховли могут выиграть. Фейс-клан теоретически, но 20 поинтов, ну не знаю. Это им надо было уже убить 7-8, чтобы был такой вариант. А они Фейс-клан убили 2. Ну, не знаю. Еще они теряют человечка. Фейс-клан тоже, кажется, движется к своему завершению.
Ascend is driving. He's inside the circle and he's gone.
Yeah,
there he does. There he goes. 122, 116. Howl, Exalt face. They know what's needed
Ой, Ховли могут дожить. Ховли даже доживут до фулл-элита. Ховли могут. У экзальтов будет в дальнейшем рельеф перед собой. Фейс-кланы тоже могут зацепить. Короче, те команды, которые остались, еще могут зацепиться. Ховлям нужна тупая победа.
Now this becomes a fight of we have 6 teams outside the circle, make that 5. Those teams all have to do something. If Howl just survives, placement points alone gets them a buff. It's this is Sparta! Kill count exactly. Exalt could surpass, and then we might even be looking at both Ascent and Foot being out, depending on how this one unfolds. But that would require for Howl to pull off magic in a shack with just 2 alive.
It would be a miraculous play. But let's see how it goes. We have seen teams, wounded teams, with just 2 from shacks, be able to get wins when all the other teams are.
Главное, остальные к ним не подпустят никого. Ну да, в этом и смысл, ты на это рассчитываешь.
Everything around it is so open. So if the circle goes to them and it is so open, it would be technically doable.
Алис Сайгуи гоняет.
Good for esports, both Howl and Exalt surviving to live another fight, surviving to live another placement point, with teams yet to move, yet to make their way inside. Full tilt Polish power, that fight will have to come to an end. Sabem has made their way.
За 6 минут сейчас все решится.
Knows there are people up there, but they cannot get an angle. At least one more team has to be eliminated off of this, and Polish power might fall too. That could be 2 teams out.
The Garden fight continues.
Yeah.
And we will have full tilt here, completely battered up against all of these smokes. And it looks like Polish Power is going to be taking the initiative with it. Flexing out here, finishing them off. That's full tilt.
Все, фуллы вайпнулись и занимают последнее место в этом турнире. Digital Athletics могут еще немножко... ни хера они не могут.
My mind says it's going center, man. My mind says it's going center, and all these teams have to play this open area.
Does Howl really get it? One more time. I mean, honestly, there's this center this late. There's only few circles where we're talking brutal hardships that would not keep them into some extent.
Ну все, Нави пошли на бардаш, походу.
Inside this building, hard to see exactly what's going on. He's trying to make a run for it. Barely any HP to work with, but trying to stay put as shotguns are being put to use. Medkit trying to get himself up to full HP, but they're all inside the circle. The fight doesn't have to happen. They both want
Экзальты там выбежали, кстати, из кемпа, по-моему. Да, нет?
Inside the circle. Polish power inside the circle. Where does Phase 7 take us?
Phase will be looking for a fantasy moment if they can pull something.
Да, там молодость начал выходить, поглядывать. Экзальт еще в зоне. Невероятно здорово. Они могут выиграть эту игру и выиграть турнир.
May even actually crash into apartments, to be honest.
I'm gonna say this very early. Unless if Navi takes out Phase without losing anyone, Exalt wins this game.
I mean, they've got a great opportunity.
I'm calling it. I know it's way too early to call, but their position just looks.
У Exalt 111 поинтов. Я так понимаю, placement point им сразу приписывают сейчас. Потому что у них было вроде как 110.
And try and outlive. 2 points for Howl to overtake Exalt.
In the qualifiers, Howl were very good at pre-nading, so you have to be careful about that. That's the exact kind of what's been going through Howl's mind for a long time. Look, I mean, they even have the nades ready to go if this.
Ловли, если займут топ-2, это 6 ПТС, и убьют двоих, то у них тоже будет 122. То есть, если они убьют троих и возьмут топ-2, то у них будет топ-1. Поэтому Ховлям не обязательно выигрывать даже игру. А вот Экзальт обязательно надо выиграть эту игру. Иначе ПТС не хватит. Экзальт надо убивать всех? Нет, не надо им всех убивать. Экзальтам достаточно сделать... Сколько? Выиграть игру, это 10 очков. И сделал 2 килла. Вот им все достаточно. У них есть варианты и ресурсы на это дело. Либо топ-2. И сколько им надо там? 6 киллов и топ-2. Тоже нормально. Тоже вариант рабочий. Да, плейсмент поинты сразу накидывает. Это я вижу. Так, Ховли. Опа, а Ховли-то сделали 3 килла-то. У них все. Они могут... Они могут. Твою ж дивизию. А вот у Нави говно.
Never mind pre-nades, that was perfect against Digital Athletics, and now Navi's going to try and dislodge the position that FaZe has them in. The circle shifts away from both Exalt and Howl to an extent, so now eventually it's going to have to be everyone moving, but this fight between two titans still persists. Oof.
Howl is out. They're running out the building. They know that there's no more pressure coming in from the east, and Navi is looking in.
Я очень сильно топлю за Exalt. Хорошо. Ховли, что самое интересное, сейчас могут фраги воровать очень сильно.
Was going out far. Molodroct is going far against Polish Power on that west side here. If he's got a few throwables, maybe that will get him some very, very important points.
Placement points alone now. Again, Ascent just 3 points up from Howl. Howl trying what they can as best as they can to get out.
Молодость нокает Марселика. Это хорошо.
Blinded for days as the circle starts closing and we're getting into phase number 8. Gustav should be down and out. Fate now falls as well. Exalt knows that they have
Не успеет.
It's getting outside in the blue as well. Example finds one. Not that it's going to matter much, but placement points are being fed across as Howl is just 2 points down.
Howl has an opportunity to jump to
Exalt опять алкаш. Лежит. Все против Экзальтов. Вот почему тяжело им. А Роер нокает Алю. И Рис нокает Мелмана. Надо смоки раскидывать, а у них, видимо, нету. Молодость доедает одного. Ой, сейчас экземпл, мне кажется, всех похоронят их.
And actually crawling on through this, that nade's probably going to catch him though on the backside. Maybe just a little bit, 33 damage going his way as well. Only 33 health left. Schofield's down.
They know exactly where they're from Ruin. How long do you live? Do you live to see?
Ой, все, посыпались. Ну за шо? Ну, пацаны, ну за шо? Просто лежит турелька в 6 стулет. Там Круню. Ой. Нави eliminated. Переснукает Марселька еще. Господи, у поляков 2 в ноке. У Холя одинаково. 1 в 1. 1 в 1. Ой, блядь. Твою дивизию. Как все на тоненького было. Прямо дал бы в бубен этот феерист. Мега невероятный хайлайтер. В бубен этому поляку, и все бы закончилось. А чё турки-то не пошли? Просто он не пошел душить этих поляков. Я не понял этого. Да по хп понятно, что не было шансов.
Ruin goes for the complete flush at the end for the kill on towards one player from Polish Power. Polish Power get the victory, but there are many more things to talk about here.
This is the best.
Да, Ховль выиграл.
Nothing compares to what we've just witnessed, and we get it every tournament. This is absolutely freaking.
Ховлы, по-моему, выиграли. Сейчас посмотрим, что у них по плейсмент поинтам. Посмотрим. Непонятно тут. У Ховли, по-моему, плейсмент поинтов больше будет, а сейчас плейсмент поинтов больше в априори. Да, Ховли чемпионы. Ховли выиграли по итогу. Вдвоем затащили твою дивизию. Как же это было жестко. Да, это было реально нереально.
It looked like all these teams were going to go after them, and they did it again by hanging out in a shack for a little bit. They just sat tight for as long as they could. And you know what? It's a winning strategy. It worked, Saga.
You asked me on day number 1, is anyone going to dislodge Hal from first place? I said not today, but day 3, someone will come and overtake them. I forgot
Турки, что партнерский турнир выиграли, что здесь сейчас выиграли. Экзальты могли. Ну, это не так работает, что экземпл подровнял. Это работает так, что они с экземплом не справились. Они должны были экземпла убивать, и все. Нави были в говне и в меньшинстве. Как бы. Да, это была мощная концовка. Вот только ради таких концовок ты начинаешь смотреть. Вот он, тут экземпл нокает двоих. У него тоже по факту нет хп. Ну, блин. Ну, не было по хп шансов, конечно. Он просел. Но он сам же просел, поэтому и не было шансов. Просто вы понимаете, насколько IQ много у Ховлев, что они понимали, что справа поляки, и идти их убивать — это не вариант. Нужно просто идти и не отдавать поинты, и они отдали синьки и не убили поляков, тем самым они не помешали полякам убить Экзальт. Просто это такое, блин, триллион тысячный IQ действия. Ну ладно, чё. Поздравляем, Ховль, как говорится. И эйсы. Эйсы у нас тоже получается этот, как его, забирают путевку же. Да, эйсы и Ховли. Еще бы сделали на 2 поинта больше бы, ребята, из Экзальт, и тогда бы у них все получилось бы. Тогда бы Экзальт поехали бы на Глобал. И это самое невероятно классное ощущение, когда ты едешь на Глобал. Да, мощь, пушка. Ну ладно, ребятки, чё? Заряжу вам еще Гузеева последний разочек. И буду прощаться потихонечку. Спасибо всем за просмотр. Всем счастья, здоровья, любви, успехов, хорошей следующей недели. Берегите родных и близких. Да. С вами был Чаузор. И до новых встреч. Пока-пока.